Forgot to send the link to KG, so he's coming. I'm going to get started in a few minutes, but today I'm going to go through pretty much like every possible TV option at every size, and we're going to shrink it all the options down based on budget, and then just no biases. If this is your budget, this is the one or two models that you should be looking at. When to drop down a size to get a better quality TV, when to go up a size if the quality is close enough, that kind of thing. So by the end of it, we should have a good list that you can just look at and decide either which to pick for that budget, or if you should try to increase your budget to get something significantly better, that kind of thing. And if you can let me know how the audio is. I have the mic a little far away. All right.
What's up?
Hey, KG.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm listening to the audio right now. Hold on. Trying to hear. I think we're good. Yeah.
Brad,
Okay.
the schedule changed it for tomorrow? The heck you do. Let's see. Scheduled for the 16th. Yeah, 16th. That is weird.
YouTube tripping.
Yeah. I was actually like a minute and a half late starting it, but that's because I'm sitting here with so many windows open right now. I'm trying to organize everything.
I hear it. Man, I just got some of those 4K Blu-rays in.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Some of them came in slip cases, so that's even nicer.
Yeah, I did get the Snyder Cut UHD, and that actually survived the trip well, that the outer sleeve wasn't damaged or anything, which usually happens when I order from Amazon.
Was that $20?
I think it was 10.
What?
Yeah,
4K?
Yeah.
Wow, when? What? How did I miss that?
I actually ordered that like 4 days ago, I think. But yeah.
See, nobody links me the good deals. I'm always finding good deals, and nobody links me good deals.
Yeah. Like, I already have Justice League, but obviously that's the one to have. And the HBO Max version looks good and all, but I mean, I have all of the DC collection on UHD, so figure add that, and then even the ones that I don't like Birds of Prey or the second Wonder Woman, like I'll get those just for the collection, even though I don't like to watch them. All right. I see some football talk.
Yeah.
And yes, this is one of the best deals that I've seen, and that is, spoiler, it's if you have the budget and you're looking for 75 inches, that's the LCD to get, because the QN90A is significantly more expensive in my opinion, and that's a good price for the X95. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So what I've done is I have a window open with the name brand stuff. I have a window open with like the TCLs and the Hisense and the Vizios. And then I have another window with the larger TVs. And I'm kind of just going to go through and just start knocking stuff off the list, really. So I guess we will start with the TCL and Hisense list, because I think we can knock a lot of those off.
Yep. Man, don't buy a Sherpa jackets. Like, I was really cold and I put this on and now I'm hot. Like, I can't win. It's so cold here.
All right. So I'm just using Best Buy because it's easy and they generally matched everyone else for price.
For sure.
And they carry the TCL models that only they carry. So, I would say if your budget is below $400, just get the biggest thing you can find for your money. You're not going to be able to distinguish the picture quality of one to another.
I'll throw a wrench into your plans, though. What about an Element 65-inch for $320?
Yeah, that's just when you're
the same
below
thing, right?
that price
I think
range,
it's almost the same thing as a TCL 4 Series.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying get this yet. I'm just putting this up here to start. This is definitely getting knocked off.
Yeah.
This was my $400 pick before they brought out the Google Series 4 Series now. So if you're $400 and you're not getting a Fire Stick or a insert media player here, and you got $400 and you want a decent TV, I expect this to be pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
If the other option is, like you said, get one of those really off-brand larger TVs that's going to be a Black Friday doorbuster special type thing.
Yeah, so the thing about those off-brand ones is there's a chance that they might be TCLs. Or, like
Mm-hmm.
some of the Roku TVs, they have the same exact stand and
Oh yeah, they
everything.
make them for other companies, like
Mm-hmm.
the Amazon's new Omni TV or whatever is this,
Yes.
just with the Fire OS thrown on.
Yeah, let me check. I think
Um,
Target is Element, right? Like I think that's
I know
Target's
Walmart
brand.
used
And
to sell those. I don't know if they
Walmart
still
has
do.
ONN is their brand.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Walmart used to sell Element.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a store brand unless a store bought them recently.
it's possible. It's very
Um,
possible.
but then at the $400 price range, here's the dilemma: for
Hmm.
$50 more, you can go up to the 65-inch, and it's still an Android TV. So
Yeah.
I would recommend that if that's your budget range, spend the extra 50 for that extra 10 inches.
Yeah.
Because then once we start getting into the $500 range, then you can get the Google TV 65-inch 4 series. So
Send
like
this
these,
to you.
I'm gonna keep this as like the bare bottom. 400 is a strict budget, and then if you have a little bit more, go for one of these. And then we
Yeah.
have the best option as far as getting a good picture quality, but then you got to drop back down in size to 55, is the new Google TV 5 series. Just make sure when you're looking at these TCLs, get the Google TV one because they did increase other stuff like the picture quality, like the
Hmm.
brightness of this TV is significantly better than the Roku version. So I just would say don't get the Roku ones.
Yeah, but that said, there is a lot of bugs with the Google ones
Yeah,
from
yeah,
what
that's
I've
true.
seen, and
I just think at $500, I'm not too worried about the bugs.
yeah.
And if I'm missing any chats or questions or whatever, uh, KG can let me know, or if you guys just put like, what is it? Put like a question mark first,
Hmm.
something like that. Um, and then it's a big jump up to $800 to get the 65-inch of the 5 series. So once you get up to $800 and you start having more options, I still think it's a decent option, but then that's where, do you want to pay that much of an increase for 55 to 65 here?
Yep, yep.
Um,
Let me share this out. I forgot to share it. Let me share it.
then at 1,000, the U7G 65 is probably not terrible. It's there. Still not quite what I would pick. And then for 1,200, you got the 6 series, and that's again we'll come back to this, but I'm not feeling the 6 series for $1,200. All right, then the oddballs here, we have a 58-inch Vizio M7, which I'm not keen on recommending Vizio, but it has VRR, it's 60 hertz, $600. It could be something interesting. I just haven't seen it yet personally. And
Mhm.
then I found this to be interesting. So the P series isn't bad if it's working, and at $1,000-ish, I still wouldn't get it. However, look at the open box.
Yeah, I saw that too. I was like,
Like I could go get a $600 P
I would
series
do that.
65-inch,
I would totally do
and it's
that if I could
excellent.
find one. Yeah.
Then at $600, the extended warranty is only going to be a couple $100 more. So then
Hmm.
you wouldn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and you make a good point about the Best Buy open box stuff. Like right now is the best time to buy this year's models open box because there's so many TV returns at this
Yep.
time of year. So there's going to be a chance that some of these TVs are at Best Buy, and there's also a chance that they're probably not that bad. They just ended up like having buyer's remorse or something like that. So you could also check them out in store, which is great. You can have them hook it up and you can check for DSE or whatever. You can bring your own little USB drive and run your own tests. But like this is a really important thing because some of these are cut by like $200, $300. Like even the A80J, for example, you can get a 55-inch version of that for like 1149 or something open box. So it's pretty impressive if you can
Yep.
find it.
Yeah, so that's why like I have these oddballs on here. They're not going to go on my list, like my
Mm-hmm.
spreadsheet list, because it's your mileage may vary. But
Yep.
if you could find this for $600 and add the warranty for a couple hundred, I would do that. Like if that's your price range and you're looking for something decent, that could potentially pay out pretty well.
I
Um,
I think that's a joke. Well, not a joke. I should say it's not a joke, but I think it's kind of a joke that the Vizio OLEDs are so expensive still. Like
mhm.
it doesn't make sense to me because they were 899 last year, 55 inch. At this time, and I
Yeah.
would say yeah, that's a decent buy. But now they're back at 1099, and they're not making any effort to cut the prices.
All right.
So,
Mr. Walker, the U8G,
mm-mm.
it's bright, yes, but that's it. It's a one-hit wonder in brightness, but that's all it does good. So you're giving up black levels, you're having blooming, the colors are off, it has not good gaming performance. So that's stuff like that I'm not going to put on my list. I'm trying to put the most well-rounded, just best overall displays for the price ranges. Now, if you just needed a super bright TV to sit
Hmm.
in front of bay windows, then you could, something to consider.
Yeah,
But
it
the
has
motion's
really.
bad, the
Mhm.
upscaling's bad, anything with processing's bad. So no, I'm not going to
So
recommend
like
UHE.
not like necessarily bad, but it's not as good as the X95J. And I want to say like the black levels are pretty good on the UAG, but for the most part, like if you compare it to something like the X95J in like core like use case situations where you're watching movies, if you're bothered by anything that's not black bars, you're gonna have a hard time with the U8G. It's something that I noticed right away, and a lot of other people have said this as well. It's not just my panel specifically, which some people pointed out that maybe I got a bad panel, but there's other people that showed that this has that issue with black bars as well. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just something that is a downside to those cheaper TVs. You're always going to get what you pay for. You're never going to get this amazing deal that is just a steal and better than these top brands. It's not possible. So the QN90A is going to beat it, the X95J is going to beat it, and rightfully so. It's priced more. So
Yeah.
anybody thinking that they're going to get this better TV than those two are being misled by other people. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just how I feel about that anyway.
And it's like in a lot of other things, the bigger brands do have more markup range, and so that's why you can usually get a better deal picking a lesser known brand on some things. But when it comes to the TVs, Sony and Samsung, they sell so many, and they're making their money back from the ads and the OS. So they don't really care what their profit margin is when they sell the TV. They just want to have
Exactly.
as many out there as possible and have the highest market share so that they're getting all the other back end money. So someone like their company like Hisense, they have to really push things hard to compete. And
Yeah.
so their thing with the UHG was the brightness, but if you watch like any of FOMO's comparisons and you can see those black bars, how lifted they are and how much blooming there is. And then
Hmm.
I saw the U9DG right next to, the Samsung, the Sony, and the LG at the shootout, and saw the processing on it. When I say it's bad, and KG saying it's not bad, it's like to me it's bad. Seeing it right next to all those other
Yeah,
displays,
fair,
the
fair, yeah.
motion was especially bad. It didn't matter if smoothing was turned on or off. The
Hmm.
motion was just not good.
Yeah. I
Um,
say for like the price is it's okay,
mhm.
but
Yeah, for the price and for the
yeah,
average user,
right.
then it's not bad.
That's
But
why I have a hard time
mhm,
calling it bad at that price.
mhm,
But like it's just not going to compete. So I think that that's just a joke if
yeah.
people say it's going to compete. So,
Mhm. All right, so ratings measurements can be hit or miss based on a lot of things: panel lottery, the way they do it, the way they test things.
mhm.
Um,
They say this themselves too, so
yeah, I mean
yeah.
the QNED 99, I believe is like a 14-ish hundred nits, 1500 something like that peak, but the QNED 90 that I did was just over 1,000, which is about the same as the X95J. The Samsung measures higher, but in real content, it doesn't show that. So it's one of those things that like it's those measurements don't really matter that much.
Yeah,
Um,
it is definitely harder to trust Hisense after their marketing choices. Like honestly, you look at who's marketing their TVs for them. It's kind of a joke, right? It's a comedian out there. It's Joe McHale. And he's like, it's got that 100-day promise, and it's kind of a fun thing that they do, but for the most part, it's like, come on. Um, we've seen that these Hisense TVs can fail, and we just need it to be proven more. And I guess that's why they did the 100-day thing. But if you go ahead and look at some of their like 75-inch U8G on BestBuy.com, look at the reviews on that. Like, pull that up right now. The 75-inch U8G, it's the like
Oh yeah,
craziest thing ever. It's like, how can you have confidence in having that for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? I know people want to buy TVs for 3, 4, 5 years. See, if you're buying a Hisense, it's cool. Like, you can keep it for 1 to 2 years, maybe 3 years if you're lucky, and then transition to a better TV. But I wouldn't recommend it for somebody that wants to keep a long-term 4 to 5 year TV. Um,
I think they pulled it.
oh, did they?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, yeah, I was kind of joking about the whole Hisense marketing thing, but I was just
Or do you
trying to
mean the
I
U7G?
was trying to bait the chat a little bit.
But yeah, because the U8G doesn't come in 75. So do you mean the U7G?
No, the U7G. Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know why I said the UAG. I
I mean, that's
misspoke.
IPS, and yeah,
Yeah. But look at the reviews. It's just like,
well, they're higher now, but
yeah. But look at some of them. Some of them are like, my TV went out on me in like a week, and it's just like, whoa. You don't see that too much with other brands. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
But yeah,
But yeah,
they
I
are a lot
couldn't.
higher than last time.
I wouldn't recommend the 75
Yeah.
U7G just on the fact that it's IPS.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so now if we switch over to like the 55 and 65 inch Samsung, Sony's, and LG's, to me, the 55 Q70A is like the bottom Samsung that I would recommend, and then anything above this, I would just say go QN90A.
hmm
The Q80A and the QN85A, I just don't think there's a place for them. I would pick the Q70A over the 80A, even though the 80A is uh, local dimming, it switches to the IPS or ADS panel. So I think the Q70A is a decent starting point if you want 4K 120 hertz VRR gaming that works. It has good contrast ratio, good black levels in SDR. And then for the 65 inch, it's $1,000.
Yeah, and we gotta point out it's got a sweet stand. Like, who doesn't love that stand? I think that stand's
Yeah,
pretty
the
cool.
build quality on the
Yeah.
Q70A is like you're only paying up to $1,000 for it, but it feels like a $2,000 TV.
hmm
Um, so yeah, so if you were to compare that to the U7G at the same price,
Yeah.
I would go for this. Even though the U7G is brighter and it has more technical performance, I think this is more well rounded, especially if you're a gamer. At $1,000, this is, you know, or $850 for the 55. I do wish that it was a little bit. I would say like $800 for the 55. Um,
Yeah.
but that is the entry point for working 4K 120 hertz with VRR.
Yeah. Who said an edgelit TV beat an OLED?
Wait, where?
That's what your rock said. He said, I lost any believability when I heard somebody say an edgelit TV beat an OLED. All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen anything like that. I've seen some outlandish things on YouTube, but I haven't seen that yet.
But yeah, I did not see that. All right, now for gamers,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what your budget is. I if you if you want anything better than this, I think you really got to consider the C155 now that it's down to 13. Like I think that's such a good deal for an OLED that even if you wanted a 65 inch Q70A at 1,000, I would say stretch the $300, drop in size. You're gonna get a better experience with a C1, and at 1,300, that's hard to beat. Um, and then the 65 inch is 1,800. That's kind of been that price for a while. Sony has not dropped the A80J 65 back down yet. Where is it? Right here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the A90. I had the A80 here. I don't know. Anyway, once it drops back down, then the C1 has competition for OLEDs. $1,200 for the 65 inch X90 is pretty good. Then you have a better TV than the Q70A. It doesn't have VRR, but it does have working 4K 120. And with the new update, the posterization is going to make the skies look the cleanest of, any of the brands. And VRR is kind of, I don't know, not the hugest deal in my opinion. So $200 more, you can go to the X90J and have a really good gaming experience and have a better movie experience. It's just if you're really concerned about gaming, then again, $1,300 for the C1.
Yeah.
55-inch X90J is $1,000. So again, do you want to go a little bit more than the Q70A, give up the VRR, but have a good 4K 120 experience and good TV and movie experience. But these, I would just take any of these pretty much over the roughly $1,000 TCLs and Hisenses, just for a stable working platform.
Yeah.
Would you see yourself picking a TCL or Hisense around $1,000 over any of these?
I don't know. I like the TCL 6 series. The only thing that I had a problem with is like the bugs, but again, it kind of goes back to like that experience that I did have with it was basically like mostly bugs, but
Yeah.
for the most part, it was good image quality, and I would probably have to see them side by side between these two to really make that like judgment case. I think I'd be fine with any of them, honestly. I could see people at the price that it's at now, like $100 more than it was before, and I just think that when we're at this price level, the thing about the TCL 6 series is that you can get a 75-inch for $12.99. Like that's amazing. So that's where I'm like a little on the fence about that. I think I would still go with like a TCL 75-inch for $12.99 if we're already in that price bracket, you know?
All right. Oh, if you're talking the 75s, it's like I have that here. I gotta switch my tab. Hang on.
Look, like I say that because you know you're talking about what spending $11.99 to $9.99 on a TV. For $200 more, you can get a 75-inch. Like,
But then my problem to that is for 300 more, you can get the X90J, and if you got it from Costco, because this is
that's
available at
true,
Costco,
but
then you get the 5-year warranty.
I don't
And
know if that's $300 more or better than the TCL 6 series, though.
I would say the image quality is close enough, and then you're gaining reliability. And like I said, if you got it from Costco, then you're getting a 5-year warranty. So that's why I recommend the X90 at 75 inches over this.
Yeah, I could see that argument for sure. I don't know how I feel about that though. I think maybe I would save that $300 and then just go for that one. I think that's just a really good deal. It's $12.99 for a 75-inch of that quality, you know. Because again, when we're creeping up into like $15.99 territory, you're like, oh well, just for a little bit more, you can get like a Samsung Neo QLED, you know, and then you could just keep doing that just for a little more game, and it will get more and more expensive as we go on. But if you have like a strict budget, uh, it's all gonna depend on that. So
Yeah, and for $1,000, you can get the TCL 5 series.
hmm
So that's where it's like,
yeah,
if it's the budget concern, then I would say maybe just save another 300, get the 5 series, because there wasn't that much
de-
difference between them.
depending on what
Um,
you need, yeah. But
yeah,
like
because
the
it's
TCL
not
6 series
120, but
does
this is
120,
yeah,
you know, 4K, perfectly
yeah.
fine. Like you said, just missing a
It's the
couple
VRR. So
features.
pretty much we're just throwing VRR out the window because none of these do VRR.
Well, it does it good at 60
They don't do
hertz, right?
well.
It
No,
does
this
okay.
VRR period had inverse ghosting, had reduced
Right.
brightness, had
Yeah.
just. I can't recommend VRR at all.
Right. I was
Um,
I was talking more about the Samsung, but I
oh, I
think I
didn't hear you
confused.
say
Yeah, no, I
Samsung.
confused myself.
Okay,
We're good. We're good.
yeah.
Yeah, VR
So
is not good on these TVs.
the
That
reason I like
these two.
this is it's a big jump from here to get anything better. So
Hmm.
1600 to go to the 95 is 2300. That's a big jump. And then to the
Yeah.
Samsung 2600, that's a big jump.
Yeah.
C1 2900, that's a big jump. So I think
Yeah. I was
this is
talking.
my prime deal for a 75.
Yeah. For the Samsung, I was talking about the 85.
The QN85.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just see that I was in Costco and I walked by it again, and it's like I'm seeing the blooming, and Like
Right.
it looks good on some of the scenes, but as soon as there's black, I can see the lifted blacks and the blooming, and it's um, like if you needed
Yeah.
VRR and you couldn't get the QN90A, I guess, but yeah.
I might pick one up. Just to do a review on it. Just because like I everybody who's reviewed it so far, it's been really good reviews, and they haven't talked too much about blooming. And then like when Brandon compared it to the QN90A, he said it was very similar. So that like really intrigued me, and I was like, there's something about the QN85A that like I need to check out. I think to make sure like what I'm saying about it is going to be kind of accurate because I do think every time I've seen it, and I've seen it in a showroom with the lights off, and it looked pretty good to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
and I also seen it at Costco with the lights on, and it's like I said, at Costco for some reason it looks really impressive. That's how the store modes and when the lights are hitting it like that,
Yeah,
it
it has really
is.
good like anti-glare and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And it when I see it, it does remind me of the QNED 90. And
Yep.
there's like it's a good TV. It's just in that hard spot where
Hmm.
you could save money with something that's going to have better black levels, or you can pay a little more and get the premium model. So
Yeah.
that's the problem I have. And like even in Costco with all the lights on and stuff today, walking by it, like I'm just seeing the same blooming that I saw in the QNED, especially if it was just a little bit off angle.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the if you are just a little bit off angle on some of these TVs, blooming is going to be worse for sure. Which is why like we say if you're watching at an angle, try to go for an OLED if you can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, so I did see that there's still some 950Hs out there, and especially if you can get an open box deal, like
Yeah.
it's very close to the 95J, just doesn't have the XR processor. That was the only problem with ratings comparison between the two, is they admit they don't have a way to test anything with the processing, the reality creation, things like that. And that's the biggest difference aside from the 95J being 120.
Yep.
Um, but if you can find a 950H getting cleared out for cheap,
It's definitely
um,
possible. Yeah.
yeah, just remember that if you're buying it open box, get the warranty because Sony won't cover it.
Yep.
But here we are, open box, excellent, $945 plus a $300 warranty, I think, at that price range.
Yep. And sometimes even local, it's a little bit cheaper. Like there's a 65-inch of this TV exactly at my Best Buy, and it's like $750.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
mean,
really
and
good deal.
go over it with a fine tooth comb, and if you see a little scratch on the back or the side, be like, "This isn't excellent. Can you drop it down?" And then they'll
Oh
drop
yeah,
it down.
they'll drop it down most likely anyway if you just
Yeah,
ask them. Because they're just trying to sell it. They're just trying to clear some space because they need so much space for Black Friday. It's not even funny how much space they need.
yeah,
Because they're going to be getting a lot of TVs in on this last truck, and then they're going to fill up that space and with all the like doorbuster TVs, all the cheap TVs that they're trying to sell. So they're gonna need all that open box space. Trust me, I worked at Best Buy before, and it's crazy setting up for Black Friday. They clearance out so many like cheap TVs before Black Friday just to sell these doorbusters. It's really weird how they do it because a lot of the TVs that they're getting in aren't very good. Like
hmm
they're just like downgrades. But for some reason they're just willing to sell the ones that are more expensive at cheaper prices just because they're open box. So
yep,
it's
yeah.
weird.
And then switching over to the QN90A, 1300 for the 55. It's the same as the C1. So if you don't want OLED, you have that. And this is another one where if you're considering a 65-inch 6 series from TCL, um, I would maybe consider doing this instead.
Hmm.
Um, I know you're much more fond of the QN90A than the 6 series.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no doubt about it.
So
Like
it's like,
it's not even close.
give up the 10 inches to
Yeah.
have the more reliable and just better TV.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how close you're sitting, of course,
Yeah,
but
and pay a
you
little
know,
more, but still.
yeah,
Yeah, or like this, 1700 for the
really
65
good
is a good
deal.
deal.
That's a really good deal.
Yeah, that's where is it? This the
Yeah,
65-inch X95, this has
that
to
that
drop.
needs
This
to
is not
drop. If
right.
it doesn't drop, it doesn't make sense because
hmm
like how are they supposed to compete with the QN98 at that price? And then
My theory is they have so many 950Hs left over, they're just trying to
that's
get rid of
probably
those
that.
at the
Yeah.
65 inch. So then they can drop this. Because if they drop this, then they're going to sit on these forever.
Yeah.
So
I don't
that's my
think
guess.
I
But
don't think we've seen Sony's last price drop yet because that 65-inch A80J is sitting at 22.99 still, which is
yeah.
stupid, or 21.99, which doesn't make sense, considering it's been what 18.99, 17.99. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I think we're going to see another price drop from Sony, hopefully soon. I think what we'll
Mhm.
see is maybe Best Buy do some Black Friday price drops. Not their price drops, but I think we'll see their ad pretty soon. Probably like
Yeah.
this Friday or maybe even Monday.
Mhm.
It's got to be at least that sooner, or else
And
it doesn't make sense.
yeah, and like this should be the Black Friday price, but honestly, I think they might drop the 65C1 another 100 because they want to match Samsung, and they
I
do.
could see it. I could see it. The problem with that is that right now they're calling that price their Black Friday price on
Yeah.
LG's website, and so I think people that are buying from LG's website would be kind of upset about that. It's not like it's hard to go back and price adjust, but
Mhm.
it's just a sort of PR nightmare for them in a way.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe or like the one you saw that was for a Cyber Monday instead, they could drop it for Cyber Monday
That's true,
and then
yeah.
have it a
That would
a
be
week long deal.
also, yeah, that would be a kind of a debacle on their part too, though, I think. Um, I don't know. I feel like maybe LG feels their TV is superior to Samsung's Neo
Mhm.
QLED,
See, it's just they
and
match
so
the
they'll be,
55s,
yeah, they
and
do,
then
and sometimes they go $50 over it or $100 over it though. Like if you
yeah,
look at the past Black Fridays, there was times where it's been the same price as the flagship
mhm,
4K, or it's been the same price as, well, not the flagship 4K because Samsung always had like a step up model, except for last year with the Q90T, they discontinued that. Um, but for the most part, like their mid tier level was always the same,
yeah,
or like $100 less. And so I don't know. It's hard to predict. I think it would be smart for LG to match that price, but I don't see it.
yeah. I'm just trying to think. So at let's say 15 to $1,800,
Hmm.
what would be your pick? So that would
Uh,
be the 65C1, the 65 QN90A, a 75 X90. Um, I think that pretty much is it for that price range.
yeah. So you know how I feel about this price bracket. It's like it depends on what you need. Honestly,
Yeah.
if you're a fan of OLED, then you have your choice there of the OLEDs that you can get. I do think the A80J is going to be the same price as this. Um, and I'm pretty sure it will be. I don't see why it wouldn't be. And then the QN90A is the only choice for the LCD at that price bracket, I think.
Yeah. So, or
Like, I
unless
mean,
you went for the 75
mhm,
X90.
yeah,
So, and this is where LG needs the QNED 90 to be cheaper than this,
yeah.
but it's not. And Sony needs the X95 to match this, and it's not.
Hmm. And I will say this though, like there's also something that you have to remember about these TVs is you always want to do your research and look on like forums before you buy them and see what the users are saying about them. See what the owners are saying. Like AVS forum, like if you can scroll through some of the owner pages and just like sift through the BS where it's back and forth about, how bad the TVs are, like if OLED's better than LCD. There's a lot of that in those threads, but just like skip all that and just try to find the people that actually own these TVs, and then you'll get an idea of like what people are experiencing, what people are really going through with these TVs. Because I'll say this, there's actually like a dimming bug going on with the QN90A, and this is something that we experienced last year on the Q90T as well. But for the most part, like I don't know how impactful that is to your viewing experience. It's just something that's a minor annoyance for the most part, and it's usually fixed in a firmware update. But that's just stuff you have to be aware of when you are buying a TV. So I suggest to everybody before you decide, like, first you want to decide, like, do I want an OLED? Do I want an LCD? Make sure it's right for your room, of course. Make sure the lighting conditions are good. Make sure that just everything just kind of fits your needs personally more. And like if you're a fan of highlights, get an LCD. If you're a fan of like just you don't really care too much about brightness and highlights and you just want like the best picture possible, then get an OLED. It's just you're gonna have to find your preference, and then you're also gonna want to look through the owner's pages because if you see that there's a problem that you can't personally deal with, or you think it would be something that would bug you, then get that TV. Again, with when we talk about DSE a lot, that's always going to be a chance with LCDs more so than I think, you're having really bad problems with say vertical banding on an OLED. You know what I mean? I think more people are more likely to be annoyed by DSE than they are vertical banding. So that's something you also want to consider when you're choosing between these two TVs.
Yeah, I mean so it's outside of specific niche cases. So like
Hmm.
super super bright room or incredibly like decked out theater room. So let's just try to find what for most people.
Yeah.
I would say the 65C1 is probably going to cover, like, it's that safe bet that for most people, this will do what everyone wants very well.
Yeah. Well, I do think that while I would prefer it to be in a dark room if possible, and I'm not talking about the walls painted black or anything. I'm just like if you
Yeah,
can just like get the
I'm
room
saying cut
semi-dark,
out the extreme ends, cut out the
Yeah.
super dark, cut out the super bright
Hmm.
for, let's say, 90% of people. This should cover everything you need
Yeah. I
if
think
that's your
I think
budget.
that's fair. Yeah.
But
I think the QN98 could do that as well. That's the thing. I think they're both very good.
yeah, and then it is the yin to the yang here, but
Mm-hmm.
it's the like Dolby Vision is a factor that people want. I'm
Yes.
starting to not care as much about Dolby Vision because of the problems I'm seeing with it.
And here's the thing
Um,
about Dolby Vision is like think about the platforms that it's on. What like Netflix and Disney Plus
and HBO
and
Max, like it's all the main
HBO
big
Max.
ones. Yeah.
That's yeah, but then we also have like things like Paramount Plus, which is getting HDR10 plus, and they're getting a lot of support for their movies. Like a lot of their movies are in HDR10 and HDR10 plus, and so like we're starting to see more and more streaming services pop up that have HDR10 plus, and we're gonna see games in HDR10 plus pretty soon too. But we don't know too much about like if that's gonna be in future TVs only or if it's going to be in the current ones. But that's just something to consider because the Amazon HDR10 Plus content's really good, and then Paramount Plus has really impressed me with their content so far. And I think if they start putting more and more movies at HDR10 Plus, then it's really just going to be like honestly the difference between HDR10 and HDR10 Plus and Dolby Vision is like very hard to see the difference in my opinion. Those grades are going to be a little bit different from like movie to movie and like to TV show to TV show. But for the most part, we talked about this last week on my stream that like, there's hardly any movies that where you're like, oh, I definitely prefer Dolby Vision over regular HDR10. You know?
Mhm. Yeah, it's one of those things too. Like unless they start putting some kind of tag or
Mm-hmm.
whatever on the content that says like this was actually designed for Dolby Vision,
Yeah.
then there's just like it's not really going to be any different than HDR10.
Mm-hmm.
Shamar, all right, here's the thing with the 900A. That is Samsung's real flagship. That's what they
Yes.
put all of their best local dimming algorithm stuff on. That's what makes it better than the 90A, the 800A. So it isn't about being brighter or anything like that. It's the way that the algorithm works for the local dimming, where it doesn't have to eliminate the highlights or
Yeah.
crush them or anything like that in the dark areas like the other ones do.
Yeah, there's more zones, so the
Yeah.
algorithm has more to work with, and not only that, I think they do drive brightness a little bit more on it to because it is 8K, they need a little bit more power from it, so they have the ability to drive the brightness more. So you'll get more brightness in the little small highlights like you're talking about.
Um, if you're turning your contrast down just to watch it at night, then that's counterintuitive. That defeats the purpose. You're killing your contrast ratio. Like
Yeah, don't
that's
turn the contrast
has
down at
nothing to like
all. Yeah.
you would turn the brightness down, especially in like SDR to get better black levels. but don't turn the contrast down. That's
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
He might have meant his brightness, which is okay. You know, it's okay if you're watching like SDR, but I still think like if
yeah.
you got this TV and you're not watching it at full brightness in HDR, you're doing it wrong, man, because
Oh
it's a
yeah. Whenever
beautiful
you're
thing.
watching HDR on anything, you keep it
Yeah.
at max brightness. It's
Mm-hmm.
SDR where you want to pull the brightness down, so that way your blooming is less noticeable if it's an LCD. Your black levels get better if it's an LCD. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Uh-huh. No,
And then,
Vizio is not the only brand that supports Dolby Vision and HDR10 plus. There's a couple of TVs that do it. I think the Hisense does it. I believe the TCL does it as well. I know the TCL does it as well. And
um,
I do think the Hisense does it
okay,
as
so
well.
contrast does more
It's
than
just
what you think.
LG
It
and
also
Samsung.
affects your colors. So you're literally just killing your colors and your white point.
Yeah, you don't want so the contrast level on the Samsung, like usually want to keep that at around like 40 to 45.
Yeah,
Because Max
it
is a
does
little
clip
bit
at 50.
yeah,
Yeah.
it clips at 50, but don't drop it below like 38. If you drop it below 38, you'll start to see things will just start to look a little bad with the colors. So yeah, you don't really want to do that.
Yeah. So all right. So at $1,000-ish, that's where like I can't I can't say that I would take an X90J at 1,000
Hmm.
and instead of say push your budget and get a 55 C1 or the 55
Yeah,
Q90A for only $300 more.
yeah, this
So
one's
I'm
easy
gonna
for me.
eliminate that one. This is where it's like
Yeah,
I recommend the X90J fully
for
at
65, yeah,
75.
or yeah,
60,
65 and
65 is
75.
okay,
I
but
think it's okay.
75 I think is the sweet spot. So
Hmm.
some TVs I can recommend just based on the size. It's when like the C1 at 55, like that's a really good gaming TV for a good price. Same thing with the QN98, the same price.
Yeah. For
So that's what,
75, I say the TCL 6 series just because of the price. But yeah,
yeah,
I think
and
for 65, I think the X90J is a good bet.
yeah, I don't trust the TCL to last as long. So then
That's
I'm
fair.
seeing you add a warranty, whereas so the Sony
That's
you can
fair.
get it at Costco with 5-year warranty, like you're good to go. But
That's fair.
that's
We have really no uh data on the longevity of some of these TVs yet.
yeah.
They're still fairly new. I mean, they started popping up
Like I
what
have
like
a
4 or 5 years
TCL
ago.
from
So they
2019,
for the most part they're okay. Yeah,
and
like
and
they
my
last.
my remote is trash. Like the buttons are hard
Oh
as
yeah,
rocks and don't push.
I believe that. They do cut corners when it comes to that kind of stuff, but they have gotten better. They have gotten better. I'll say that.
Yeah, they're better.
And I really appreciate what they are doing and what Hisense are doing to like try to push down the price of TVs and to give people cheaper options that they're fairly decent. As long as you're not expecting the world from it, you're going to be very happy with the image quality, and that's why I do still recommend Hisense and TCL TVs to anybody in a lower budget range,
Mhm.
because most of the time they're going to be better than the counterparts of the bigger brands in that budget. But you just have to have your expectations set that this might not be a 5 to 6 year TV like you would if you spent a little bit more.
Yep. Um, yeah, and then so for the G1, like this price drop really helped it come back into being considered
Uh huh.
if you are someone who was planning to get a C1 plus a warranty.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Like,
It's still expensive. At
yeah,
$23.99 though.
yeah, it's a little bit more than a C1 with the warranty.
Yeah.
But if you were going to get C1 warranty wall mount, then I would
Hmm.
say consider this.
The
It is
55-inch is a good deal though.
the 55
G1.
G1. I didn't see the
Yeah.
price for that.
I think
I
it's
just think,
16.99.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good deal.
yeah, that's pretty good. Um,
Hmm.
that's what before I got the 48C1 for my monitor, I
Yeah.
have just enough wall space that I could have gotten the 55G1. I was thinking about it,
Yeah, see that I
but
think that would have been the move because of just you if you're using it as a monitor, you got
mhm,
burn-in chances and stuff. I
yeah,
considered that myself, but I couldn't pass up 10.99 for a C1.
yeah. Um, and then the 77G1 at 38, so that's $800 more
Hmm.
than um like the A80J and the C1. So again, it's if you're considering an OLED with Best Buy's
Yeah.
warranty, consider the G1. The main reason, especially at like 65 inches, you're getting the new panel, whereas with the
Yeah.
C1, you don't know.
Yeah.
The 80, you don't know. At 77, you're getting the new panel regardless, so that doesn't matter. But at 65, if you want to know you have the new panel, and it's not so much about the brightness, but it is a little bit brighter in high APL scenes. Um,
And if I was
and
mounting it,
it's built very well. Like it
yeah,
looks really nice.
if I was mounting, like if I was guaranteed mounting the TV and I was buying an OLED, I'd probably buy this. So it was really loud. Like I have my
What
text
was that?
messages on. It was like super loud. It just like binged in my ear. I don't know if you guys heard that, but
No.
okay.
All right, so the 65 X95J, I haven't seen anything about this dropping, so I'm just going to eliminate this as an option.
Yeah, and until it drops, we can't really recommend it.
And again, if you can find the 950H, especially open box with a warranty for a good deal, and you don't need 120 hertz, that's definitely something to consider. Like that could trump pretty much anything else in the 12-ish $100 range once you're out the door.
Yeah, that's another note. You might be able to find the X95J open box as well. So look into that.
This one's way more discounted with the open box than
for sure
a new one.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we covered pretty much everything here, I believe.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right, so let me switch over back to the 75s and 80 or above. All right, so 75-inch, the entry is the TCL for 13, or the 5 series for 1,000. That's not bad. If you don't need for gaming and you just want a big $1,000 TV, the TCL 5 series, it's a good deal.
Yeah.
This, it is a good deal. It's just like I was saying, I am not terribly comfortable with TCL or Hisense for long term. And would recommend a warranty. And then once you had a warranty, then you're at the price of the X90J, which I liked better. The black levels on the TCL probably a little bit better, but it's not significantly better in any way. And the Sony is significantly better when it comes to colors and accuracy. And I mean, like the X90J was the most accurate TV that I measured out of the box.
Yeah.
The TCL was one of the worst. So if that matters, that's another reason. Because I don't think anyone's going to buy a TCL and then have it calibrated.
Well, we were talking about the TCL when I did the TCL versus the QN98 video. Like you were able to tell which one was the TCL pretty easily because of the way that the yellow were just
like orange and
yeah. It did have a really weird yellow color. I'll say that.
Yeah. All right, so again, my main 75-inch pick for the price is an X90J. Just sit straight on as soon as if you need something with wide angle viewing, this is not the TV for you. That's where
that goes for pretty much anything in that budget range. Lower than that, like
that's where if you had this budget and you needed wide viewing, you're dropping down to a 65 and getting an OLED.
Yeah. I think,
or the QN90A. QN90A is good viewing too.
I think like this TV or the TCL would be very impressive for most people at 75-inch. So,
hey, E-Rock, my 55A90J was originally scheduled for delivery Thursday. Then it said it was going to be delivered today, but then the shipping didn't update to say it was out for delivery. So it's saying it can be delivered by 10 o'clock tonight. But if not, I'm assuming it'll come tomorrow.
IRL HDR says, does anybody confirm that the LG G1 warranty definitely covers burn-in? I believe they have said that it does.
They won't use the word
they
specifically
won't tell you that
because they don't want to acknowledge that that's even a thing.
Defects and stuff. But it
pretty
much, I think Vincent Teo pretty much kind of like went over the terms and
if you
poked through the guidelines,
get it and you need to call them, it doesn't matter. It could be a C1, a C10. If you have burn-in, you just say, hey, there's this like shadowy image on my TV. They're going to know what you're talking about. but they're going to cover it and replace it. You just don't. They don't want to acknowledge burn-in as a thing.
They have really good success stories. I'll say that for customer service. A lot of people say they got their panels replaced, even when they weren't G1s. So I believe they will cover it.
Yeah, so like I do personally believe the X95J and the QN90A to be like the two best LCDs, but I still think they just don't get to OLED level when it comes to like turning the lights off, watching a movie at night. But that said, David, did you get your 83 C1 yet, or is it still on the way? Oh, yeah, I think you pretty much just answered that here. If you end up with, all right, yeah. So hopefully you don't have to deal with that bug, and hopefully LG does fix that with the update tomorrow. My C1 actually got notified for an update last night. I just didn't actually do it yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
I
they
think
brought it out
mine did it
early.
automatically, so I don't know.
I have mine just comes up and says,
Let me
you know,
see
an
what
update
mine's
available.
at.
Do you want to do it now or not?
Mine is. I'm gonna see what what software update mine's on right now. They changed the menu so much. I'm trying to figure it out. Software.
All right. Well, good luck. Hopefully you don't have any dead pixels, and if you do have banding or anything like that, just remember to give it good amount of HDR content and a pixel refresh. Hopefully it all works out for you.
So mine is 3.20.45.
Yeah,
Anybody
I
in
got a dot
chat know if that's
65. I got a
oh,
dot
okay.
65 notification yesterday.
Okay. I didn't update to that one then.
Yeah, I didn't actually do the update yet, but so I have been playing Halo Infinite, and it
How do you
like
like it?
Forza has one of those weird brightness sliders, has nothing to do with the brightness, and it gives you a really crappy image to set it. I don't know what Microsoft's doing with these things, but
Yeah.
that's not good.
I found that if you drop that brightness, it's better
Oh yeah, on
because
Forza, yeah. On Halo, no, it
No, I
pretty much
didn't see
just
the Halo
leave it
thing yet.
alone.
Yeah, I'm
Especially with
probably gonna.
HGIG, it makes almost no change unless you drop it all the way.
Yeah,
So I'm pretty sure it is using HGIG.
it is.
However,
Okay. I haven't.
dynamic tone mapping actually like really popped everything without the highlights dying. So I think a lot of people would just use dynamic tone mapping.
I haven't done my video on it yet. I plan on doing a video on that probably this weekend.
Yeah,
I just wasn't sure if I wanted to wait until release for that, but I don't know.
well, I mean, the multiplayer is released. It's the
Yeah,
official.
that's the thing.
So
And most people probably just play multiplayer anyway, so I should just
yeah,
release it this weekend.
yeah, I'm gonna do one, and I was gonna work on it tonight and try to have it tomorrow or the next day, but didn't look at Dolby Vision yet. But I'm not expecting much from the Dolby Vision.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right, so then we move up. So once you want to go up to a premium 75 inch, if you're not going to like $3,000 range, these are your options. And I think at $300 price difference, I would definitely take the X95J.
Yeah.
So if you're $2,500 and less is your budget, this is what I would get, hands down.
2,300. Did they drop that more?
Yeah, like it was just dropped. So I think it was 23 or 24.99. I think this just hit like today or yesterday.
Really? Is the 65-inch A80J still 2,200?
Is the
65-inch A80J, that's still 2,200?
Oh yeah, that didn't drop yet. Like I said, I think that one they expect to be very high volume, and they're just trying to save what they have until Black Friday, and then they'll drop it.
Yeah, that's not a bad deal for the X95 right there.
Yeah,
75.
Yep. Yeah. So
What's
like,
the
if Samsung drops
QN90A
more,
is
but I kind
21?
of doubt they would.
Oh, it's 25.
Yeah, so it's $300 more.
Wow, I think it was cheaper.
Yeah, I thought this was cheaper than this before.
Let me look. I'm gonna check out Camel real quick, see if I can find what the cheapest it's been. I hate when I'm like trying to look up camel on Google, and I type in camel, and the first thing that pops up is camel spider. I'm like, nah, I don't want to see that. That's not what I'm searching for.
All right, Hamza, thank you for the super chat. Why does NVIDIA Shield Pro have elevated black level and Dolby Dark A90J? Bring black level down to 49. There can be a glow at 50. I have not seen that. I don't know. It could be a setting that's not correct on the Shield because there's a lot of settings for it. But you shouldn't have to bring your black level down. What you can do is get a plugge pattern and put it like you can get like VLC app or something on the Shield if it's not gonna just play it natively, and then open it through the Shield and then see if it's doing anything. But it shouldn't be doing anything to the black level. Just remember too that even if you're using Dolby Dark, which is the accurate mode, depending on the show or movie, if it could not be showing it correctly, just due to the HDR to Dolby Vision conversion that shows and movies have.
I'm getting like stuck over here. So yeah, $25.99 is like the lowest it's been. So I don't see them dropping it. I don't see them dropping it. I think what we see now from Samsung and LG is their prices.
Yep. All right, and then what was the 85 inch down to? All right, so the 85 on the X95J is still 3,500. So this is where then the Samsung is cheaper at 85 inch.
Yep.
So that's where I would get the QN90A. So when it comes to the X95 and the QN90A, if you don't care about Dolby Vision, just get whatever one is cheaper, because they're similar enough and they both have their pros and cons.
They do seem very, very similar. In fact, like I was looking at the X95J, like a couple of things about it, and I was also looking at the ratings review on it. It seems very similar to last year's Q90T in the sense that it almost has the same exact capabilities. It's just the Q90T is just a little bit brighter, but other than that, it does seem like it's a very similar TV to what Samsung delivers. And then, of course, you say that the accuracy is going to be better, and I believe that because I've seen what Sony TVs can do at the higher levels, and the actual capability of it being an LCD TV can get pretty bright on its own. So I think for the most part, yeah, just get what's cheapest, right? Because unless you don't I'll say that with the caveat is like VRR, right? Like if you care about VRR and you PC game, then like you have no choice but to get the QN90A.
See, I don't know.
Because you also have like that widescreen feature from the QN90A, which I think is really awesome, especially on a big TV like a 75-inch.
Yeah, it's just in my opinion, if you were going to use a TV for a monitor, like I would absolutely recommend a C1G1 first, and then a QN90A. But that's about it.
Yeah, it's close for me. I think it's close. I don't know.
So really the 85 is actually unavailable, so it's sold out. But it is one of the ones I've like even back in the summer, they sell out, pop in, sell out, pop in. So
they have like they have an allocated number they sell it each day, I think, and then they restock them just so they don't oversell from their warehouses.
Yep. Right. All right. Yeah. So here, I'm mostly gonna lean towards the 77 A80 over an 85 X95 or your QN90A. It is a little bit cheaper, and you're much more likely to get a good panel.
Yeah, 85-inch X95J would probably be my pick if it's if you know you're gonna get a good panel, right? Like that's the problem is you don't know you're gonna get a good panel, especially at 85 inches. Your likelihood of having more DSE problems is probably bigger, and like there's a lot more that can go wrong with a bigger TV. So I just think this is a tough one because the 77-inch A80J, you say it's what is it, pixel bend, you said?
No, the panels are bend for it.
Yeah.
They don't they also apply a filter to counteract the pink tint.
So they treat that like
they treat it like an A90.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm seeing quite a few people having issues with the 85-inch X95J. We all know Samsung has issues when it comes to that. And when you have an 85-inch TV, even if there's just a little bit of DSE, because it's so much bigger and everything's spread out from the larger pixels, it's just going to make it that much more noticeable.
Yeah.
So
This is where like if I had to go with the 85 inch, this is where I would go with something like a quality assurance check from like Value Electronics.
yeah,
You
and I
know.
think especially as your budget goes higher, then that makes more and more sense because the percentage you're paying for it is much lower.
Yeah. Like I'm really nervous about the 7780 J2, like no doubt about it, but I'm less nervous than if I would have got like the 85 inch, LCD. So it also is going to depend on, your viewing distance as well. Let us know how far you're sitting from your TV. But I mean, I think 77 inch is going to be big enough for most people's situations.
Um, so yeah, this is what we were kind of talking about the other day. Assuming you're talking about gaming,
Yeah, if you're talking about
that
like dynamic tone mapping, for sure.
yeah, like I prefer Sony's gradation preferred over HGIG just because it works for everything. You don't have to worry about the game supporting it or not. You don't have to sit there and check, does it look better with dynamic tone mapping or HGIG on this game or that game, or turning it off. Like on the Sony, you just put gradation preferred and everything looks good.
Yeah, you just set it and forget it on the Sony. And like that's something that you kind of have to commend Sony for doing because that is such a pain for some people to go into the menus and check if it's HGIG or if it's looking better as dynamic tone mapping on. Like maybe I prefer doing that. Like I don't mind doing that because I just love tinkering around with that kind of stuff. But some people just want to set it up and just play. And
Mhm.
for that, I really like what Sony does.
I mean, it's like I start playing Halo last night,
Hmm.
and if there's four options. You have dynamic tone mapping off, you have HGIG, you have on,
Yeah.
you have Dolby Vision.
Yep.
Like, which one is the game supposed to be in? And then when you give me this game that has this weird brightness slider that doesn't say nits or anything, and you're just showing me this image that doesn't even have any real HDR highlights in it, it's like, this is not good. This isn't like, you're
Yeah.
saying that this game is supposed to be Dolby Vision. You're marking it as Dolby Vision, but then like if HDRG looked good, but then you turn on dynamic tone mapping and it looked brighter without the little bit of highlights in that image that they use for that setting or in the game,
Yeah.
didn't really seem to change. Then it's like, why not use dynamic tone mapping even though it's wrong?
Right.
Technically, usually,
Looks better
it's
usually
just it's too
sometimes. Yeah.
confusing. If I played
Eh,
on the Sony, I got one thing: gradation
yeah.
preferred. I'm done. I can start playing.
100%. And like what I need, like what we really need LG to start doing is like try to work with some of these game companies and the console
Mhm.
makers. So like when we do get a HGIG game, put in or present, let's get a HGIG logo like to flash on the screen like we do with the
Mhm.
HDR10 or the Dolby Vision.
Mhm.
Like let's see HGIG pop up so we know, hey, this game is HGIG. I can set it to HGIG and just be fine. Because the games that aren't HGIG, you know what HGIG does? Absolutely nothing. So
Yeah.
it works the same exact way as tone mapping off if you have HGIG on. And most of the time, that's a bad experience, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Especially
Yeah.
if you're somebody who likes brightness, um, then
Mhm.
yeah, most of the time you're gonna like dynamic tone mapping on for non-HGIG games, but you're gonna also have lifted highlights, or not lifted highlights, but lifted just like shadows, just lifted whole entire picture. So
Mhm. Yeah, and it's like I think every game their video settings should just show the brightness bars and the darkness bars, and then if it's HDR, just set your nits for the TV, and that's it. Like
yeah,
there shouldn't be the show me an image of somewhere within the game because some dark detail is supposed to not be visible, but it doesn't tell you. Or
right,
at least the ones that say adjust it until the icon disappears or whatever. That's fine.
yeah,
Like
and
I just don't know why games
HGIG
aren't all like that.
like on the LG TVs. I'll say this: on Samsung TVs, it's a little weird, a little different. I don't know what Samsung does,
It doesn't work.
but it does something though. It does something. It changes the image quality even when it's not HGIG game. I don't know what it does. It does something with the tone
Mhm.
mapping. It's weird. No, I'm telling you, it adjusts like the picture, even if it's not a HGIG game. That's weird. And on the LGs though, it's like if it's not HGIG, it's doing nothing. So it's something weird going on with Samsung. It's not working properly. I acknowledge that, but it's definitely doing something. You can see it, and I don't know what it does. I think it maybe like shuts off some of the tone mapping. I don't know what it does. It's weird.
When I had the Q90A and it said HGIG, and it's like you're forcing dynamic tone mapping though, so what is it? Doesn't
Hmm.
make any sense to have it.
Yeah, but if you
Um,
toggle the HGIG button on and off, you'll see it change.
I don't know.
Like some highlights and stuff change. So
I just I had issues with the Q90A when like if you set it to like around 1,000 nits in the Xbox,
yeah.
then it didn't really have those issues. It's only when you're trying to actually use the brightness of the TV that like had the backlighting issues and just was a problem. But again, it's just why I like Sony's implementation, gradation preferred for everything, and it all looks good. Samuel, thank you for the super chat. The 800A or 900A worth it over the 90A. Interactive local dimming is better than the 90A. Yeah, absolutely on the 900. I haven't seen the 800, but I'm guessing the 800 is probably going to have similar algorithm as the 90A. It's not the premium flagship one. The 900A, excuse me, is a 90A. Ignore the 8K part of it, and then just give it a better local dimming algorithm that doesn't crush out as much detail and allows the small highlights to get brighter.
Yeah, so your rock says it does something, but it does something on the higher end or on the upper range. I'm not sure about that. I haven't totally tested that. It's just to my eyes when I'm switching between HGIG and tone mapping off on games that aren't HGIG, I see no difference.
You're right, and he was specifically talking about the Samsung. You were talking just Samsung, right? Not the LG.
For the LG, I'm saying though is like the difference between tone mapping off and HGIG on when it's not a HGIG game. I'm not seeing a difference.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Are you? I mean, like, am I missing something here?
So I actually have a video. It's a few months old now,
Mm-hmm.
but back then there was a bug where off and HGIG were the same thing. Um,
Okay.
but then there was an update that fixed that.
Uh
And
huh.
since then, I have not gone back and tried off with a game that does support it. So, except for last night with Halo, it's a HGIG game though. It's the only
Yeah.
problem. But and then switching it off, it just made everything dimmer.
Right.
HGIG kind of brought the highlights up, and then dynamic tone mapping brought everything else up to match the highlights.
Right.
I have not tried it with a game that doesn't use HGIG yet, though.
So I was using my example from Call of Duty Vanguard,
Hmm.
and I kept switching to see if off and HGIG did anything, if they had any difference. It was absolutely no difference to my eyes. I could be wrong. Like I said, I didn't extensively test this. I'm just kind of going off of what I seen. So thanks for pointing that out, your rock. If I missed something, I'll be happy to admit that I'm wrong. I'm just saying that's what I personally saw.
So, yeah, I forget how long ago that I want to say it was 3 or 4 months ago.
Hmm.
Um, I have a video like showing because I had other people like trying to say that HGIG was broken, and it wasn't HGIG that was broken. It was off that was broken. Off was forcing the same thing as HGIG basically, but they have since fixed that.
Yeah, and I want to say something about Mr. Walker's comments here. He was saying about HDIG and
Um,
Sony TVs. It's not exactly that. He was more explaining that you should set the HGIG settings in the console settings itself first with your tone mapping off. It's not forcing anything, and then you're going into your tone mapping settings and then changing it to gradation preferred, and you're going to get a HGIG like effect with that. So
yeah,
I think that's what I saw Vincent explain, and that's what we've already discovered that from the first day we had those
mm,
TVs.
yeah.
Um,
So I talked about this a little bit on one of the recent streams, but
yeah.
on the Sony gradation preferred. So like on the Spears and Munzel disc, there's clipping patterns that go all the way to 10,000 nits. And when using gradation preferred, you can see the breaks in the pattern up to like 2,500 nits, give or take. So what gradation preferred is doing is it's taking that range and it's making it visible, even though the TV can't get there. Um, brightness preferred, I believe, goes up to around 4,000 ish, and that's why,
Yeah.
like they say, if you're watching content graded in 4,000 nits, you can
Mm-hmm.
use brightness preferred because it's going to extend that range that it can tone map. When you're setting up HGIG on your consoles, you turn it off to make those patterns
Yep.
line up, and it's roughly correct. So I think the Xbox and the PlayStation end up being around 900 nits when the tone mapping's turned off on the Sonys, even though they're only going to get to 700 or 800, but it's close enough.
Yeah.
And then you enable gradation preferred, and it's going to take that range up to 900 nits and make it visible on your TV's 700 or 800 nits.
Yeah. And Brad, the HGIG is going to be in the brightness.
Yeah, so load up your game in HDR, and then you go into your settings, go to brightness, and you'll see the tone mapping setting. And although there's off, on, and HGIG, so it's just the safe bet for most things when playing on the LGs is just to use HGIG. But like I said, some games, if you want to sit there and toggle it on and off or toggle it to whatever and try it out, go ahead. That's a personal preference thing. So we got a little off topic here. So let's try to finish up these recommendations, and then I'm going to fill out my chart. And I will share the chart on the community tab. So it's a quick reference whenever someone needs it. Where was I? So to me, the best 75-inch deal is the X90J, unless you want a little bit more premium and you can push 2300, then go for the X95. And then we move into OLED. So the C1 at 29, the A80J at 3000. I'm just going to call that a tie. I mean, that's close enough. It's $100. And then this is where it comes down to if you're more gaming or gaming is more of a concern, you get the LG. And if especially older content, lower quality content, cable content is more of a concern, you get the A80J. And then the 77G1 would be if you were going to get the C1 and wall mount it and get a warranty. I would say pay the extra and get that.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah. And then for that $3,000 range, the only other contender really is the 85 QN90A.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are sitting further back, or bright room, or any of the other reasons that you would consider the Samsung, then just go for that. Just be aware that you might be fighting DSE problems.
Yep. And most of the time, you really won't. You don't really won't notice how much you hate DSE until later on in the TV's life cycle too. It's like it's something you might not mind at first. You'll be like, all right, yeah, there's some problems here, but like later on, you're just gonna end up like once you see it, it's gonna be hard not to see it again. So, I still think like if you go looking for problems, you're gonna find it. But if you're buying a TV that expensive, like absolutely might as well check for problems with it. But again, if you're rolling the dice for a higher end panel at like 85 inches and you're expecting no DSE, don't do that. Expect some DSE. Just hope that it's tolerable for the most part.
Yeah. So this is just what the Sony rep told me. What I've seen on the 77A80 is it's the least amount of pink tint of any of the other OLEDs that I've seen. As far as I know, it is not applied to the 55s and 65s of the A80, and I don't think it is on the A90s either, just because there's a lot of reports of A90s also having the pink tint, but it could be because those also might just be more as you're off angle. Because once you're really off angle, then you're really going to see the pink tint regardless. So that's one of those things. It just depends on the person and how they're looking at it and how much they see it. So they could be putting the filter on the A90 at 55 and 65, but I don't think they do on the A80.
Yeah,
Or actually, I know they don't on the A80.
I don't know why, but I've never noticed pink tint on anything yet. So I hope that's a good thing. But
well, see, that would make me think that your A90 was good.
yeah,
And then the A80 and C1s that you had were probably the
Evo panels.
no, the
Oh, the other
so the
ones.
new panels only come from the the China plant,
Uh-huh.
Guangzhou, and the older panel can come from either or. And it used to be thinking that the Evo panel was what was causing the pink tint, but it's more
Yeah.
that if it comes from Guangzhou, that's where you get the pink tint. If it comes from Paiju, then not really seeing pink tint, but then you do have a cyan tint.
What about the Venetian blind thing?
I still never
Oh,
seen that
you've
on
never
any
seen?
of them.
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
that. That's pretty
but
crazy.
I haven't seen on any of them,
I've seen
unless
that
it
on all of them
like a
that I've
tiny
had.
tiny bit on one of them, I think. But
Yeah, I've seen that on every OLED that I've had. So it's definitely like if you look in the sun on Assassin's Creed, you could see it's like a it's like a mesh net, like you're looking through a screen door.
see, that doesn't sound like Venetian blind then, because
Well, no,
that
it was all right. Well, not like super small lines, but it was just like it looked on the Vincentio's video and stuff like that.
yeah. Just don't use a pink tint filter.
It sort of looks like DSE in a way when you see it.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah,
you can pan with it and you'll see it.
I haven't seen. All I've seen is just vertical
It's
banding.
easy. It's easy to
Yeah.
miss if you're not like looking for it. It's
Hmm.
easy to miss.
Well, I've looked for it, like on the image that he uses of the bird and the
Oh
bright
yeah,
sun. Like I've used that.
hmm, it's interesting. I haven't checked for it on the 48 inch.
All right. And then in the premium range, obviously you have $5,000 for the 83C1, or I think the A90 is still 8,000. I don't think they've dropped it. Let's see. Yeah, 8,000. That's so hard to recommend. Like $3,000 more. Like it is the better TV, but that's a big jump, 5 to 8.
For what? Which
The
side?
C1 versus A90 at 83 inches,
Oh yeah, no, I
5,000
can't.
to 8,000.
Nope.
So
I mean,
like
unless
if
you
money
can,
is literally no question, okay, then spend the 8. But
yeah. Like
yeah,
if this is your TV you're gonna buy for the next like 5, 10 years or whatever you think you're gonna have it for, and like money isn't really an object, then okay, yeah. But like I said, but if you're already like, I don't know if I should spend this on a TV,
yeah,
then like, just get the C1.
yeah. And then the 65-inch A90 is just kind of hard to recommend at 3,800, because you can go to a 77 A80 for $800 less.
Yeah.
And they're similar enough that that's why I just don't really recommend the smaller sizes of the A90. Um, and that, but I'm sure next year these are going to drop. All right, so then put that as like a premium, like a $4,000 budget, $5,000 budget. Got our 33, so let's scoot that over here. I think that pretty much covers our higher ends. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and recap. Um,
I thought that was a funny comment.
hmm,
He
I,
said, "Do you guys really think that TVs are worth $5,000 to $8,000?" Depends on who you are, right?
yeah,
Like for me personally, like I said, it's not worth it to me because I'm broke. But that's that. But if you
hmm,
got money and you just want a TV, then it's definitely worth it. I mean, like think about how much you use a TV versus how much you maybe use your car right now or something. Like a lot of people aren't traveling as much due to the pandemic and everything that's going on, so they're more at home watching TV. Movie night with the kids, things like that. Maybe for them, it's a better investment than say like spending more on their car or spending more on something else. So like I think like whatever people feel like is worthy of spending money on, then it's probably a good idea to do that, especially if you're passionate about that hobby. A lot of home theater enthusiasts and people that put money into their home theater, it's definitely worth it for them. um, so it just goes that far. It's like a lot of people. Here's the thing about spending money on TVs, right? There's this stigma out there, like I can't spend more than $500 on a TV. You've seen that, right? I think we've all seen that. A lot of it's like most people we run into on the street would probably say, "I'm never spending more than $500 on a TV." Right? You
Mhm.
think that's fair to say? So these are the same people that will go in and spend like $1,200 on an iPhone every year. And so think about how much you actually watch your TV versus, I don't know, man. It just feels like there's not enough like proper thought put into how much money you should spend on your TV. If you're watching your TV a lot, then I think you should definitely probably spend a little bit more money on it than just $500. You'll be happier in the long run, I think, and for most people, they'll realize that you kind of get what you're paying for in the TV world.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
Yeah,
that's
I
just a
just
thought I was thinking about the other day. It's like a lot of people won't spend more than $500 on a TV.
yeah. I mean, especially a lot of older people that
Yeah,
just watch news and sports, and they're just gonna go to Costco and spend $300 or $500 on whatever fits in the room that they put it in, and that's it. Yeah. So for some people, the TV doesn't matter, and they don't even know this, if there's a difference in how it looks.
yeah.
All right,
Some
MBJ.
people spend $30 at McDonald's every day. I don't know who
Yeah,
does
don't get me
that, but
started on that. Like DoorDash, like people DoorDash
hey,
McDonald's. What?
I'm guilty of door dashing like every other week. But
I just could never DoorDash fast food because why not
really,
just get real food delivered from like a
yeah, no,
pizza
okay,
chicken place?
yeah, that's fair. But it's Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is a gray area, right? Like Chick-fil-A is not fast food in my opinion.
Yeah. All right,
I get Chick-fil-A all the time from DoorDash. It's amazing.
MBJ, thank you for the super chat. Your question is right here. If I don't need wide viewing angles, anti-glare, dim dark room, straight viewing, the X95 Q90A still be worth the price difference over the 90J. Also, X95J versus Q90A, just choose whichever is cheaper. So we're going to talk about what size. Like if you're at 75 inches, then I think you'd probably just save the money and go for the X90. At 65, then it's not too much more to consider the X90, or well, the QN90A anyway.
Hmm.
Um, so
Let
then, yeah, so I'd say 65 inch, go QN90A, 75 X90, and then if you need an 85, then your option is the QN90A.
let us know your viewing distance. That'll
Um,
help a lot.
yeah, that too. And at 75 inches, like if you want the more premium experience, then that's where the X95. So it comes down to size. Man, the chat's going fast.
Yeah. Well, let's keep doing what you're doing, and then
Yeah.
we'll get to questions afterwards. We can always scroll up.
All
Um,
right. Anyway, so for around $400, I'm gonna say pretty much any of those TCL 55, 65 inch 4 series models. Which one looks the best would be. Where am I? I think I got too many windows. Here we go. That one's 400. That one's 450. Four, three, four, 446. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do PCL
Let me see.
5. Oops, that's 446 for both options.
Let's see what is going on in chat here.
Did I miss something?
No, I was just
Okay.
looking.
And then at let's say 5 to 600.
Did you already hit this super chat from MBJ?
Yeah.
That's the one you just did.
Yep.
Okay.
65 inch. Let's see, 550 or 55 inch 5 series. 65 inch 4 series or 55 inch 5 series.
Uh, man, I
I'm
it's
gonna
gonna
say for
depend on if
gaming the
you're a
5 and
gamer.
for movies the 4. Yeah.
I don't know. What's the difference between the 5 and the 4 other than like
The 5 is the new 5 series, the 546,
yeah,
is like 700 nits. Like it gives a good HDR and it has VRR at 60 that works pretty well.
that's fair.
So that's what I would give it for gaming. And
That
then the
is pretty
65
impressive.
4. Now I have not seen
You know,
anything about this new Google TV 4 series though, so who knows how much they improved it.
yeah. I think there is a realm, well, not a realm, but I think there is a place for Vizio in this discussion as well, in that kind of tier.
Yeah, the
Cuz
M
the
series,
M
that 58
series.
inch is
Yeah.
kind of like right in the middle. It could be good. I just haven't seen it. Um, and it's, I don't know. Like I kind of want to see it.
Yeah. Well, I have an M series downstairs from last year, and it's pretty good.
All
It's
right, so
you know
for
it's not the best, but it's
800,
pretty good.
all right, so I'm gonna do 800 to $1,000.
800 to 1,000.
Yep. For gaming, see, we got the TCL 5 Series 65 inch for 800. Then we have 65-inch Q70A for 1,000 and 55-inch Q70A for 850. And I think that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
And the 65-inch U7G for 1,000. All right, so for 800 bucks, so what I'm gonna do, I'm actually gonna merge these. Break this down a little bit.
So we're here. Let's go through them then. You said what are we on right now? 800.
I pretty much just so I separated it, so we got round 800 and then around 1,000.
Yeah. Okay.
So for 800, the 65-inch 5 series.
All right. Now, go ahead and throw your questions in the chat while we're doing this. It'll be a
Wait a
good
minute.
time to like
Actually, for gaming, I want the Samsung.
get some questions in, kind of fill the dead space while we're typing this stuff in. Um, Let me see if there's anything. Should I be worried about burning on an OLED with young kids? I have a 55 Sony 900E and I was looking at an A80J or avoid risk and grab a X95J. Um, I don't know how often your kids keep it on the same channel, because that over time that could be a problem. There's no doubt about that, and it depends on how often it's on. But I don't know. What do you say about this? I'm kind of like on the fence about that with kids, because I do know how those channels could become a problem over time
Um, and
for the A80J.
the ADJ. I don't know. I think it's got. If you're talking like something that's going to have static elements, the ADJ is going to automatically dim that. I
Yeah,
wouldn't really be worried about it. If you're talking gaming, again, it's going to dim. I wouldn't be worried about it. So you're talking a really long time before that's a concern.
yeah. I would say you'd be fine most likely. Just try to get them to get in the habit of turning their TV off when they're done, or I don't know. I think for the most part you should be fine. I really do feel like burning is a little overblown uh when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'd be more worried about like somebody leaving it on CNN all day or something. Um, that's what I would be more worried about.
All right. Thank you, Tapper Tapper. Gets warranties on all TVs. X90J is under 1200. Play a lot of fighting games, so I don't feel comfortable with OLED. I would just go to Costco. Buy it at Costco. If you don't have a Costco membership, pay the $60 or whatever for the basic plan. You can order it online, and you're going to get a 5-year warranty included for free with the X90J. So then you don't have to pay extra, and you get it. And I know for the 900H, that warranty was straight through Sony for the whole 5 years. I think they might be doing 3 years through Sony and 2 through Allstate now. But either way, it's 5 years of coverage for free. If you're worried about warranty, then I would say get an LCD at Costco with the warranty for free.
Mm-hmm.
And then MBJ, he's going for 65 inches. Was debating on the X90J. Doesn't need wide viewing. But if QN90A is worth it for the leap in price, that's what I'll do. Yeah, so if the X90J was like $1,000 for 65 inches, that would be good. But at its current price versus the QN90A, I would say you're getting your money's worth.
Yeah,
making that jump.
The QN98 $16.99 is one of the better deals out there.
Yeah.
So feel confident in buying that TV because you're getting a good deal.
All right, so for $1,000 for gaming, the option was Q70A 65 inch. Or I thought I had another one here. I have the U7G is 1,000 for the 65 inch, but I would definitely take the Samsung for gaming. I thought I had another consideration here for 1,000.
Yeah.
I guess not. All right. I guess that's pretty much it.
For 1,000?
Yeah, $1,000 gaming focus.
You got the. What do you got for $1,000 right now?
The 65 inch U7G or the 65 inch Q70A.
There's nothing better than that.
Not at 1,000.
Oh yeah, because
you got to go like 12 or 13 to get
the
better.
6 series went up.
Yeah.
Wow. I would just say like.
I mean, that's where I strongly recommend paying $300 more and getting a C1. But
yeah.
If your limit is 1,000, that's kind of your option. And then for movie TV focused, then this U7G would probably look better than the Q70A and be worth it. And I don't know. I think the U7G would beat the TCL5 series. And I think the X90J is still above that $1,000 mark. So I think it's got to be the U7G.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right, so now we'll go 1,300.
Hey, did you already hit that the super chat? Tapper.
Yeah, I did.
Really?
Yep.
All right. There goes.
That's
me
why I
not
told him to
paying
get the
attention.
warranty from Costco.
Yeah, I guess I just. All right, I'm losing time. I'm losing my mind.
All right, I can start closing out these ones that are done. Close that. Close that.
MBJ, we already hit his follow-up, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right.
$1,300 gaming. Got the 55-inch QN90A, 55-inch C1, or 65-inch 6 Series. I mean, personally, I would say C1 out of those, or the QN98. Like, those would be the two. Would be the QN and the C1.
Yeah. I feel like...
But I got 3 options. I'll just put 3 options. Why not?
Yeah, I feel like you would have to kind of like have a different tier for like sizes. Because people are going to be set on sizes more than price a lot of times. So that's
That's what I'm
tough.
trying to do is like, when is
Yeah.
it worth going up in price, or I'm sorry,
Right.
up in size for a lower end TV? When is it worth going down for a better TV? Trying to just reduce the amount of options to make it easier, but need to have a couple options in a few scenarios for different people.
Yeah.
All right, so in our $1,300 movie watching, 65x90 would be good for 12. See, that's the other thing. I think, yeah, I would take the 65x90 over the TCL even for gaming, though.
Uh-huh.
So, I
I
think
don't
I'm just
know.
going to bring it down to 2 options, maybe. I don't know. That one's tough.
Well, the TCL 6 series is the 75 inch
No, 65.
for 1300.
No, for 12.
Oh, I
Wait.
thought we were 1300. It says
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah,
1300.
yeah. Sorry. All right. So
Yeah, it's
the
the 75.
65 is 12. The 75 is
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. So
So we gotta put
that's the
75.
problem. The 65 is too much.
Yeah. The
That's
65 is
I had
too
a
much
different
now.
tab.
Yep.
So
It's no
yes,
sense
then
in getting the 65 when you can get the 75 for sure.
and that TCL 75 will definitely be the top movie one here because of the size.
They keep changing the prices on us, man.
Yeah.
It's making our jobs hard.
Um.
I felt like I just wrote to somebody who was like, "Yeah, just get the TCL 65 inch for $9.99." He's like, it's $12.99 or it's $11.99. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. And at 13, I don't think there's any other movie TV watching one that I can put here,
Right.
except if you got like the 950H on a good deal. But
Yeah.
that's not for everybody though. You're not gonna. It's gonna be sold out at most places. So.
Yep. And then I got
Um.
a dude that was mad at me in the comments for having the wrong price in my video that I made a month ago, saying that he's like, "How could you get this price wrong?" And I'm like, "You want me to time travel and change my video? Like, I can't. You got to look at the timestamps on the day that I post the video.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna stop saying prices in videos unless it's like a price driven video, because like the amount of comments I'm getting about prices, it's kind of crazy."
I'm just gonna make this 16 to 18. So then we got the 65-inch C1.
But remember, we told people that this is what Best Buy and, well, not just Best Buy, this is what the manufacturers will do. They will raise the price again, and then they'll raise it again, and then they'll drop it again. And that's just what they do, especially on Black Friday or around Black Friday. So that's why you always want to use a site like I described in one of my videos. Camel.com is the best way to check to see what the prices
I'm gonna
were.
put the 80J on here just because we know it's gonna hit that price range.
Yeah, I think it's fair. But I think it's safe to say that's gonna be that price, because unless they have um like uh stock uh problems with that TV or something. Like maybe there's a stock issue and that's why they don't want to drop it, because there's only so much stock to go around for it. I don't know. It just seems a little weird. But then again, you make a good point about the X950H, trying to clearance that out before.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now we're gonna be up more in like premium price range here. So got 23 on the X95J75, 24 for 65G1. But I want to separate them from like the $3,000 OLEDs and higher. So I'll say under $2,500 or up to $2,500.
All right. You just got a new super chat.
All right. Thank you, TJ. X90, X95, A80. Movies, streaming, casual games. What size are you looking at? So like if you look over here, I'm gonna put the X90J 75 at $1,600 as an excellent deal. the 65 A80 once it drops. It's not there right now, but when it does drop, that'll be a good deal. And if you're talking like 77-inch OLEDs, then the 3000 for the A80,
77, he said.
75 to 77. Yeah, so
Yeah.
then you're looking at 1600 for an X90, 2300 for the X95, or 3000 for the A80J. That's those
Yeah.
are all good deals
Yes. And you
because
have to
there is
know
a
this.
separation between those three TVs. But that X95 for 23 sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that's not a bad deal at all. And you have to know this though, like you're talking about the X90J going to the X90J to the X95J and the A80J. It's a good two tier jump, honestly. I think it's probably that much better. So I definitely say what's your budget? Because if your budget is going to be more oriented to a higher end, then you're looking at either the A80J or the X95J. The A80J is going to be better, but is it going to be $700 better? Or wait, would that be $600 better? No, that would be $700. $22.99, you said?
Uh, the 75 X95 is $22.99. So yeah, you're paying $700 more.
It's a really good deal, yeah.
Yeah, and again, if you're one of those people who are going to consider a warranty for an OLED, then that's going to increase your price a lot more. If you don't care about warranty, yeah, the A80J 77, it's a little bit bigger. It looks better. But
Like controlled room, he said.
Yeah, but the X95 is just really good in like so many areas.
Yeah.
That it's a good deal. Like that is a hard pick.
That is tough. That is tough, and I really do like that price for the X95J. That's an easy recommendation at 75-inch, honestly.
Yeah, like at the $2,500 price range here, like it's
Yeah.
like the only thing. Like the G1 65 I'm putting here,
Yeah.
if it happens to fit someone's scenario, but really that's the only option is that 95 75 if it were me.
Right. Yep. Maybe make a note like about the LGC one being $25.99 at the military prices, because like there is some military viewers in our streams. We've had a few that got to take advantage of some deals before. So like I would just like a side note, I wouldn't even write it into like the green specs, but yeah, like so if for people that don't know, the LGC one is going to be $25.99 for military at the military base exchange for Black Friday. 77-inch 77-inch C1 is going to be $25.99. So that's something you'll want to keep in mind if you're military. Yeah, I would say for TJC is like kind of look at the benefits between OLED, LCD, see which one kind of fits you more. Like what's your strengths? What do you like your strengths to be in, like the games that you play, the movies that you watch, and see like if going to an OLED would be the move for you. And I think for a lot of people it's probably the right move for a lot of people who haven't seen OLED before. It's probably one of the cleaner images you'll get. So it's tough because I think at 77 inches, we talk about screen uniformity as well. You're going to have a better time with the A80J than the X95J at 75 inches for screen uniformity, right? Like the chances of panel lottery at that point.
Yeah, are you talking to them or me? Because
Yeah, I was just like kind
okay.
of feeding off of the TJC question. We're talking about
TJC.
the one he just had about the
Oh, okay.
X90J and the A80J and the X95J.
Does the A80 have gaming? Yeah. So if gaming is important, then I'm definitely gonna tell you get the X95. So the A80 is a good gaming TV. It has its reasons that it's good. But the dimming may affect you, may not. Depends what you play.
Yeah.
But the X95J is my personal favorite TV to play games on. Um, Yeah, just let me know if there's anything else I need to comment on. But I'm about done with this list. I'm just gonna put this
let you
is
know.
like the up 5,000 and up budget. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have so let's see, that would be the X95 85-inch. C1. Close that. Close that. QN. I already put that one there. We got the 77 G1.
I think I spelled that wrong. Oh well. Let's see.
All right.
Any more questions in the chat? I'm gonna look. Oh, we forgot the X92J for 1,500.
The wait, what?
X92J is 1,500 right now.
15,000?
Oh, 15,000. I was
Okay,
like
yeah,
1,500.
yeah. I was gonna say that's the 100-inch Sony.
It cannot be.
Yeah, that's still no. Get the 98-inch QN90A for the same.
Wow, yeah, I forgot about that TV.
Yeah, I know the X95 85
That threw me
is
off. Yeah.
it's too high above the 3,000. So I guess I'm just gonna have to make this like say 35 and up. But I was trying to just make it, unless I add a whole other category here just for the 80. I guess I'll do that. I'll add one more spot in here. Let's delete that.
Yeah, the X95J 85-inch was 3,000 at one point, wasn't it? And then it.
No, I don't think it's gotten below 35 yet.
No, that was the military price, right? No, that was 3,300. Yeah, maybe. But the 85-inch needs to drop in price too, though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it should be like
I think it was
32.
I think it
went to
was
32.
I
That'd be
think
nice.
it was 3,300.
Yeah, 32, 33. Like it needs to be in line with the QN90A.
Yeah, I agree. But that 75-inch size, now that's a good deal. That one kind of threw me off. I will definitely recommend that TV.
See, it's like I don't even know if I want to put the 85X95J here then, because like I do like it, but you might as well get the QN90A and save a couple $100.
Right. I guess,
it's just if it drops.
It's what, 3,500 compared to 3,300?
35 versus 33.
It's only a $200 difference for people that really want that Sony look and they want that color.
I'm just gonna add it to the $3,000 range.
I think it's fair to have it in there. Yeah, I think there's still some consideration people can have for the X95J over the QN90A. Especially maybe if they had a bad experience with Samsung and they're just like absolutely not gonna want to get a Samsung. There are some people that do that. So.
All right, so we're just gonna call this one then up to 3,500.
So we have a question from Romeo. He said there's a Hisense U6 GR5 at Costco, 55-inch for $450, 3-year warranty, 2-year uh, with the Costco credit card purchase. What's your opinion
Hmm.
on that one? So that I think our opinion
Hmm.
kind of is shared with anything that's like below that $500 budget range. It's going to be fairly similar for the most part. And
Yeah.
the U6G does seem like it's one of the better ones. So,
See, and when it comes to those Hisense TVs at Costco, though, they're not always the same
right.
as the
I think
similar.
this one is like a Black Friday specific model. Yeah.
Yeah. So at 450 for the 55 inch, it's probably like a 500 nit TV, so it's going to compete
Mm.
with it's going to be between a TCL 4 and 5 series.
Yeah. What's the regular 6G go for? Is it like 550 or something?
Um, U6G 55 inch is $500 at Best Buy.
Yeah.
So yeah, this
It
probably
might be the
is
same model,
about the
honestly.
same. They
Yeah, it
might
might.
have like pulled a HDMI port or done something like that to cut
Ooh, if
costs
they
a
did
little.
that, it's only two HDMI ports.
I mean, keep in mind too, this TV, even the regular U6G, doesn't have eARC.
Yeah.
It's like the only
Right.
modern TV like
It's
that's
three
not
ports,
super
right?
budget that doesn't have eARC. But
There's
yeah,
three
three
ports
ports.
total.
One it has ARC, but not eARC.
Oh man, I don't know what I would do with just three ports. Like I already have a hard time with just four ports.
You're just gonna be buying a splitter, or
Yeah.
and that's gonna add to your cost of trying to save money.
Right. Especially since
Ernie,
you
thank
really
you for
want,
the super chat.
you kind of want to like a streaming device with some of those cheaper TVs too, because oftentimes those operating systems are pretty slow.
Hmm. Um, Looking for a switch from LED to OLED. 83C1 issue is burn-in, even split between TV, movies, gaming. TV is a lot of ESPN. Should worry about the ticker. So uh, you really shouldn't be worried about burn-in.
Nah.
Um, you can leave the logo detection turned on the LGs,
Yeah.
and then it'll just dim when it thinks that, when there's a static element for long enough. If you're worried about it, if you're not worried about it, you can turn it off, and then don't have to worry about it dimming. Um, so I don't know.
I'll say this.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah. Let me.
However, I would say,
Mhm.
if you're going to be spending that much already, maybe just go ahead and get like order from Value Electronics, get the QC and calibration, and then
I think you already got it.
oh, you did get it. Okay, yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Just I would say you don't have to worry about it. So the
Maybe you
biggest
didn't.
change
Okay.
recently, and like the OLEDs that burned in were like the 7 series. They had
Yeah.
larger red subpixels.
So let me say this though, like I watched a ton of ESPN with the 7 series and I had zero burn-in from the ticker. So like I watched a lot of sports. I watched a lot of NFL Network. I kept it on the combine for like 6 hours every year and I didn't have any NFL Network logos burned in. And I always watched ESPN a lot too on that same C7. And if the C7 didn't burn in the ESPN stuff, then of course the C1 won't because it's a lot better than what the C7 had. The C7 had the burn in issues with the red subpixel, but this shouldn't be an issue. Now, I wouldn't worry about it. Ernie, I think you're good to go.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I did. I watched like 6 hours of the combine like every year. The NFL scouting combine.
All right. So let's see. Can I? Oh, that's where I zoom it in. Oops. There we go. All right. Does anyone have any recommendation for anything that should be on this list that's not? Because I think this pretty much covers it.
I think that's a good list. Let's get some people to bring some questions to us.
Yep. Yeah, because we're about almost 2 hours in.
Yeah.
Probably go like another 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm good. I plan on going decently long on Friday, I think. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I was gonna do a calibration stream today, but I was thinking, I got to go back to work, and I don't want to be in the middle of a calibration and have to go back to work. So I'm probably gonna save that for a Saturday. I don't know if it'll be this Saturday or next Saturday though.
Yeah. You should definitely do one with the A90J when you get it, like a setup stream or something.
Yeah, because I was gonna do an in-depth manual calibration on the A80J, and that's what the stream was gonna be. But now that I have the A90 coming, maybe I'll just do it on that because it's the same process.
How about let's do this? You should do a A90J stream where like you're not looking at it before you set it up. So like the first time you see it is gonna be on stream, so you could be like, yep, everybody was right. The A90J is the best. I think that would be kind of funny to see.
Yeah, so here's the problem though. Like when I did my stream the other night doing the white point, I had to do it from like a combination of my laptop and my phone, and it sounded horrible. But that's because I was using both of my TVs plus a monitor.
Oh,
so
you
it's
just
like
mute the mic on one of them.
Well, I did. It's just both the phone and the laptop mic sounded like crap, but
Oh,
because
well,
I was using the laptop to do the calibration at the same time, so all the USB ports were used.
Can't you just use 3 counts then? Like just use this, whatever you're using to stream now, and then sign in on a different one, and then sign in on a different one. Just have three guests going.
Yeah, well, I did it too when I was doing that the other night. But yeah, so what I wanted to do was have the C1, the A90, and the A80 like all together at the same time, but that's not gonna, because the C1's my monitor and my stream setup.
Right.
I'm probably just gonna have the A80 and A90 next to each other, and do that on stream.
Gotcha.
So, all right, comparing the price, performance, size, which TV on this list, here's the best deal dollar performance. So it's gonna break down by budget, but I'll point out some highlights. To me, I really like the X90J 75-inch for $1,600 with warranty, bought from Costco. Like that is a good solid deal. So like the C1 77 for 29 and the A80 for 3, like those are really good deals.
Yeah, I think that like the best deal for dollar to performance is probably going to be those 55 inches right there. Those the C1, the QN90A. Like I think those are going to be probably the best TVs you can get at that price range. And it's just a really good deal. You're getting a very solid TV. It depends on the size you need, of course. If you need bigger than a 55-inch, then the 65 inches are even a better deal almost, if you think about it. So
yeah, see, these are really good deals. Like if you have a strict budget, the 55s for 13, but for $300 more, warranty included, you get 20 more inches. With that X90. So like it just depends on.
But going from a C1 to an X90, that's like
I wouldn't do it
downgrade.
For a 10-inch. I wouldn't do it for the 55 to a 65, but 55 to 75.
But then we're talking 75 to 65 in that price range.
But I'm just saying for the $300. Like, of course, for $300 you can go 55 to 65. Well, no, you can't because it's like
that's 18. Fair. That's fair. But then then you're talking about like for the same price, you got the TCL. Right. Yeah, but you got the TCL 6 Series 75. If you really want to go 75, and I think personally, I know you disagree, but I think personally, I would rather have the 6 Series over the 90J. For image quality. All things aside, all the bugs and stuff aside, just if we're talking picture quality.
See, for me, the colors kill it though.
It's fair.
It's the colors, the motion. That's the other thing is I can't do the motion on the TCL. If you are affected by soap opera effect, you can't get the TCL.
That's fair. I wasn't too bothered by the motion personally. The black levels on the TCL were really good.
Yeah, the black levels, the brightness, like all that's great.
It's just
very,
a really
very
good
little
picture.
blooming.
Yeah, for 1300, 75-inch. It's not hard. That's a hard one to pass up.
Yeah, and then a little bit more premium, the 95J 75-inch, like that's pretty much sitting here by itself. Like I really should just take the G1 away from this.
That's a really good deal, yeah.
Yeah,
that 95J came out of nowhere, man.
Yeah, that's what I don't think I can really leave the 65 G1 here. I think that's got to go.
Yeah, because if you factor in like the C1 plus a warranty, it's still cheaper.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think this might be the best bang for buck deal then, because it's the only one sitting here by itself, other than like these ones. But these are so close in price that Like it's got this whole bracket to itself.
Yep.
Oops.
Yeah.
Mike, thank you for the super chat. Is the 75 X95 a big step up visually
Oh
from a
yeah,
55
definitely.
900E? Oh yeah, yeah.
Definitely. That's a great TV. The
You're,
900E is a great TV, but
you're
like,
gaining 20
yeah.
inches and a lot.
Mhm. It's there's been a lot of improvements, and you're talking about the XR chip it's so good.
Yeah.
Like
Sony
Sony's
skipped
processing.
F, right? So it went E, then G, then H.
I think there was an F. No, I'm pretty sure
Was
there
there
was
an
an
F?
F. Yeah, maybe not. I could be wrong, but I thought there was an F.
And either way, you're getting what,
The
4 or
E was
5
good though.
generations newer with the XR processor. Like that's definitely a worthwhile upgrade.
Yeah,
The
pretty sure there was an
X85J I
F.
do not recommend at all. I just the Q70A is better in every way for basically the same price and doesn't do the half resolution like the X85J does. So
Hmm.
the X85J is not good. Nope.
I haven't seen this TV, but I know you absolutely killed it.
Yeah.
So
It's the one Sony that had bad accuracy.
yeah,
It was this roughly the same brightness as the Q70A,
hmm,
but with worse black level, lower like it just I can't like I would absolutely get a Q70A over the X85J, whether it's for TV,
yes.
movies, gaming, doesn't matter.
And from experience, anything lower than those 90 series,
Yeah.
um, in the past and historically, they have been a lot worse than the 90 series and the 900 series. So it's just one of those TVs that I really consider like a budget TV. I consider it very close to what like a TCL 5 series is in a way.
Mhm.
Would you agree
Uh,
with that? Like it's among those kind of.
yeah, like it had the older processor. It had, like I said,
Hmm.
they obviously didn't care about its out of the box accuracy. It just you could tell they didn't care. It felt cheap. It looked cheap. It smelled cheap. It had the worst speakers I'd ever heard, other than the TCL 5 series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It smelled cheap.
yeah, it was like that burning plasticky smell
Yeah,
when you
yeah, I
turn
know
it
what you
on.
mean.
Yeah.
It just sounded funny.
Um, Tascism is the 91J any good? No, not for any price. That's a repackaged 90J.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, that's a repackaged 900H from last year. The 900H last year, 85 inch, was $2,000 or less many times. So basically, what that is you're paying more for what you could have gotten many months ago. It's the same thing. So no.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but the Q70 is better than the X85J, Brad. Like, it's just a better TV.
yeah, like if you're gaming, it it cuts the resolution in half, so it's got the blurry 120 hertz. Um, the black levels are really not good on it. Color is not good on it. It's not the XR processor, so the motion was just average. Um, yeah, there's just so many better options than the 85J.
Yeah, the Q70A is a really good edgelet.
Yeah, like every time you hear someone say we don't talk about the 900H,
Hmm.
the 85J is like a 900H without local dimming, so it's
Yes.
and not as bright. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, those are definitely some of the best ones on here. Uh, I think anything like 1,000 and under is just pretty typical what you expect to see every year. Um,
Hmm.
and the ones that really stand out are the
You got
X95J, the OLEDs,
the
and the
77-inch
Samsung.
C1 at 2900 is pretty good.
Yeah.
When they're the same price, do you give the edge to the C1? I mean, it's tough because it's gonna depend. It's $100 difference, and most likely it's just gonna depend on what you want out of the TV. For me, I think like if you're super just hardcore gaming, it's gonna be the C1. But if you're less than 40% gaming, I would go with the 80J.
Yeah, to me, all right, so $100 difference at a $3,000 price range, that's a 3%
Not
difference.
yeah,
Like,
that's not a big
it
deal.
doesn't matter.
Right.
And then again, it's if you're playing racing games, Call of Duty, Battlefield, Destiny, like shooters and racing games or um, things like that, definitely the C1. If you're playing more cinematic games, things more um, like indie games, things that don't really have HUDs very much, then I would go for the A80. And if you're not really playing games at all, then definitely go for the A80.
Whoa.
Um, and if you really want very, very bright gaming and you don't care about VRR, then you get the X95J for gaming.
Yeah. Let me hit this question from Kevin. He says, getting an A80J 65-inch, what's a good soundbar to go with it? Is there any benefit for going with the Sony soundbar? So, what's your budget? Because I'd say like if your budget is below 4 or 500, like I would say okay, let's clarify this a little bit more. If your budget's below like 300 for a soundbar, then I wouldn't get a soundbar because I think that the A80J sounds probably gonna be better than most sub 300 soundbars, and that's just what I would say with that. But if you're talking about like an upper range soundbar, then there's a benefit to go with some of the Sony soundbars because they kind of pair together. But only it's not really the soundbar. It's what that HT, forgot the name of it again. What's it called? The Sony
The
system. It's the HT9 or something. Nine.
the A9 is the expensive
The
like
A9.
four
Yep.
speaker one. Then there's the is it
That's the
the
only
something
benefit.
7000 is the expensive sound bar,
Yeah,
and
but
then I think
that's
there's a lower end one than that.
the only benefit to go with a Sony one is the more expensive A9, right? And the other ones don't really have any like benefit like the QLEDs do with the Q Symphony, for example. There's no like added thing to it from what I understand. So like I don't think there's any benefit to go with a Sony soundbar personally. I'll just find the best deal for soundbars, the best bang for your buck soundbar. Let us know your
Yeah,
budget for that though.
and I mean, and I unless you specifically need a sound bar
Hmm.
because of space or you just don't want speakers around the room, whatever, strongly recommend looking into piecing together a receiver and speakers, which can be done for roughly the same cost of premium sound bars and sound a whole lot better. Or like Yamaha has a $500 kit that comes with a receiver, speaker, sub, like everything at Best Buy. So like it's a
Uh-huh.
home theater in a box kit. I would still take that over any soundbar.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So Um, I don't think FOMO has seen the X90J yet. He was just going by like what I've said and what other people have said with it. And the QN90A is a better TV, so it's like that's the. Do you want the size or do you want the quality?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
paying. Uh, I
I
don't
think
know.
we agree with that, but like for the most part, it's just gonna depend on how
Mm,
far you sit and like
yeah,
what size you need.
I mean, if you can move up closer and get a smaller, better TV, that's not a bad option.
Yeah.
If you can't and you need bigger size, then yeah, like I said, the only problem really that I have with the X90J is its viewing angles are not good. um,
Hmm.
Lifespan for modern TVs, there's no way to know until it's 5 or 10 years from now.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't expect any TV to really be good 10 years from now. I wouldn't expect them to be um, like. I think after about 5 years, you're probably going to
Yeah.
be looking at upgrading. Most
I
people,
expect most people to be looking at upgrading around 5 years anyway. And I
yeah.
think 5 years, 5 to 6, 7 years, you'll start to see the TV have a little bit of small issues creep up. Maybe even some noise from the backlight if it's an LCD.
Mm,
OLEDs could be losing color. There's a
mhm,
lot, there's a lot that could happen. I think that TV manufacturers know this and they're not really worried about it
mhm.
because they know how often people buy TVs now.
Yeah, it's just like phones. They want them to
Yeah.
fail or want you to upgrade. So
That's why I think a lot of them are just continuing their firmware to like only maybe 3 or 4 years. Some people do a little bit longer though. I think
yeah.
Samsung supports 5 years or something like that.
So when it comes to just picture quality, the A90J should take this. I say the 77 G1 is the best, like, overall TV of the year. Like, if you're gonna encompass gaming, monitor use, like everything like that. But obviously, the
Q900.
A90J is a better picture quality.
Right.
And then the QN900A is my personal favorite for most impressive TV.
Right. I haven't seen it, but I've seen the A90J, and that one
Mhm.
blew me away. So that's
Yeah.
I can only go with what I've seen. So it's the best TV I've seen personally. But I really wish I did see the QN900A because I love the
Yeah.
QN90A.
Yeah, it's so the A90J should be the last TV I test this year, but it's like if I saw an open box 900A and could get it, I'd be sitting here thinking about it. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, and if we're talking about the QN900A 85-inch versus the 83 A90J, I think the QN900A is cheaper
Yeah. Oh
by a
yeah.
good.
It's like 5,500 or something right now.
Yeah, 2,500 cheaper is what Matthew said. So
Yeah.
yeah, in that sense, I would probably go with the QN900A, but then you have to worry about the panel lottery more.
Yeah. But I just nothing to that says this is true, but I just in my mind have to think that Samsung puts a little bit more QC on their 900A because it's their true flagship. But who knows? Um, See, and here's the thing: I don't care if about the 900A being 8K at all. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm only gonna give it 4K stuff anyway. So if I could get one of those, like a 75 or does it come in? I think it comes in a 65, right? If I can get a 900A 65 to review, I would. Like, I don't care about the 8K aspect. I just like the local dimming part of it. Yeah. Yeah, it's open box 25. Dang it! Now I've just like talked myself into reviewing the 900A this year.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Why not?
Just don't do it.
I think when the A90's done, I might.
It's not worth it. Like I want to see it, but I'm gonna just say for you, I think that it might not be worth it. I think a lot of people are gonna be buying TVs this year or this month, right? So
Mhm.
I don't know.
See, but the 900A
Who's
is the
waiting?
one that once it goes on clearance in a
Yeah,
few
no, I
months,
know. Yeah,
that's when
yeah.
it gets
It'll
picked
be
up.
beneficial to somebody like me who's waiting, but
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm not really waiting because I just bought a
'Cause,
TV. But
I mean, like all the 900A reviews out there, like ratings and stuff, it's just the numbers, and that's the problem. That's not a TV for the numbers. You can't put a number on its
yeah,
local dimming algorithm.
yeah, no, you can't. I gotta check out the Z9J. Yeah, I gotta check out the
Because
Z9J
here's the
in
thing,
person.
I can shoot everything on the A90J, and then when it goes back, get the 900A, shoot the same stuff with the same settings on the camera, and then put them together in post and have that real comparison. Like those are the two top TVs.
All right, I just want to call out whoever gave the 3 dislikes. Not cool.
Hmm.
You know, whoever made 3 accounts and gave 3 dislikes. Not cool. I know who you guys are. You guys are out there with your dislikes. Makes me sad.
Yeah. And the only thing with the 65 900A is I wonder what the zone count difference would be, like if that would affect how good it is at the bigger size.
Hmm. Uh, yeah, I don't know, man. So if you get the QN900A and it's a 65-inch, it's like, what if it just looks like the 65-inch QN90A at that point?
Well, then I would know because I know for a fact the
Yeah,
75 900A blew away the 65 90A. So
yeah,
I saw those.
that's interesting. I don't know, man.
As Matthews Langley saying so well the question is at the same place. Are you like did somewhere review the different sizes? Because if it's not the same place using the same method and the same meters and stuff, then it doesn't exactly translate from one to the other.
Well, we know that um I forgot who said this, but it might have been Samsung themselves, and usually, their numbers are like around the ballpark of what they can get to. Like they said, the QN98 is a 2000 nit TV. Well, it's a 2000 nit TV. It can get there, but they said the QN900A can get up to 3000 nits. So there's something there with that. I don't think it's just marketing speak from Samsung.
Mm.
Usually they're pretty good with their ballpark range numbers on how bright the TVs get. So I don't know. I think there's a chance the 85 inch might blow you away.
Okay, yeah, he's saying Samsung lists it that way, so
Yeah.
not sure. All right, so Jake thinking of getting a C177 with the Klipsch reference speakers and the S760H receiver. Yeah, I think that's a really good combination of the receiver and the speakers. Now, are you talking the 5.1.4 setup for $750 at Costco, or the 5.0.2 with the tower speakers? Because that's the one that I think would go with that receiver. You just have to add your own sub. But that one's $800 or $900 at Costco, and it's been sold out. But I did see the 5.1.4 $750 setup at Costco today. Like they actually have it in the store now, and it's open and saw the actual speakers, and they're a lot bigger than I was expecting and look a lot better. So for $750, that does look like a really good kit. And you could pair it with that receiver. It's just the rear height speakers, would have to be unplugged, but rear heights are barely ever used, so it's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I wouldn't. Omi Mac. I wouldn't buy a 65 inch after 7 months of use. It depends on the. It depends on the price, I guess. What's the price for it?
I
Let us
would
know.
check. Yeah, you can if you can get a service menu remote for $7.
Mm-hmm.
You can see how many compensation cycles it's had, how many hours are on it, that kind of thing.
What's the price?
Yeah,
That's
that
gonna
too, the
help me a
price.
lot. Yeah.
The tower ones, all right. Yeah, if you can get that 5.0.2 with the towers, that's a perfect match for that receiver. And that sounds like a really
Oh,
good setup.
$1,000. I'd totally do that. I would totally do that. Yeah, I go for it. If you don't see, if you can run like the burn-in checker and you're good, and you don't see anything that's like a red flag for you, or you don't see any dead pixels, I would do it. Maybe you won't be able to check, but I still do it. I think $1,000 for a 65-inch C1 is a steal.
Yeah,
I would
just
do that. Just
you
go
don't
get
see
it.
anything wrong, then just keep it. Yeah. Yes, the U7G 75-inch is an IPS panel.
I mean, what could really go wrong in 7 months unless they're using it as like a a retail display or something to display like signage? I don't see any reason why there would be any problems with it.
Hmm. So the X90J to the 95J, I would say it's like if you're dead straight on both, the 95J is one tier or one class above. If you're a little bit off to the side, then it's two classes, two tiers above.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's
Um,
see.
all right, another one with the Denon receiver and the Klipsch pack from Costco.
Nice.
Um, yeah, and once I'm done with the A90J, I did want to review that new Klipsch 700 soundbar at Costco. That's on sale for $650 now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I might get that speaker pack just to throw on the receiver too and review that. Um, so, all right, I think we're gonna be pretty much ending it now. Any last minute questions before we go?
Yep. Let's see. If there's
Again,
any last questions, type them now.
I'm gonna screenshot this list, put it on a community post. But as far as things are right now, this should go carry through the rest of the year.
Yeah. Well, and save this. We'll recap it on Friday. Hopefully the
Mhm.
prices are still the same. But yeah, we'll recap this on Friday, and I'll try to make my own type of thing too. I suck at spreadsheets though. I'll be honest with you, but it's a good list. I agree with a lot of this list. I think the only one I disagree with is, I would get the 75-inch 6 series over the X90J, but
Yeah.
think the list is
You're not a warranty person, and not,
yeah, no, I don't.
that stuff doesn't
I
bother
roll
you.
the
So,
dice.
yeah, and you don't. You're not. It's not that you don't care about accuracy, but it's a
Yeah,
backseat
yeah,
to.
it's definitely a backseat. I would agree.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and I mean, and that's like it's $300. It's $300, so it is
Yeah.
something. I mean, that's a sound bar, a good, decent one.
If we're
So
at that price range and like, I think money is already kind of an issue, right? So every little dollar counts.
mhm.
If I'm debating on spending money on a 75-inch for 1,300, I'm already at some budget constraints. So
And
every
actually,
dollar counts.
I do want to make one quick change. The $1,000, forgot TCL 5 Series 75-inch, so we can replace the Hisense 65 and go for the TCL 75 for $1,000 for movies.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
would.
make that
Yeah,
change.
I'd imagine it's a very similar TV to the U7G. I haven't seen either,
So that
so I can't say.
is something that just came to mind. So yeah. So at 70, if we're talking the 75s, you got $1,000, the TCL 5 Series. Uh, 13 is the 6 Series, and then 16 is the X90J,
Uh-huh.
and then you got to make that big jump up to the X95J, which it is worth it, but it is a definite different bracket of price. So
Yeah, it's a fun stream. We'll definitely continue this talk Friday. I think you can't really talk enough about this because there is a lot of decisions being made by right now, and people need any sort of like ounce of like difference. Like, just give me a reason to get this TV. You know what I mean? Like, I think this list helps a lot of people, so it's a really good list.
yep, yeah, and the main thing too to always keep in mind is numbers are great. They do matter. Like it helps give an idea, like brightness measurements and gamut coverage and all that, like everything you get from ratings or whatever. And I do my own measurements. I give all the numbers, but there are some things you can't put a number on,
Uh-huh.
like local dimming algorithms or the XR processor,
Motion, like I think
motion.
motion is a
Yeah,
preference thing where you
yeah.
you described a bunch of times what
Hmm.
upsets you about motion, and like personally what I just didn't really notice that much about motion. It's gonna be a preference thing, so it's good to get everybody's perspective on it.
Hmm. And then even like you were saying, U6G would bother you because the amount of HDMI ports. Some people,
Yeah, that would
two
really
HDMI
bother me.
2.1s isn't enough.
Yeah,
So there's other things to consider too,
yeah,
besides just the numbers.
yeah, dude. That would be a nightmare. I'd be like,
Yeah.
what would I do with 3 HDMI ports? I got a Nintendo Switch, a Series X, a PlayStation 5, and a soundbar already, and then I sometimes have my DirecTV receiver up in here, so it's like, come on, dude. Give me 7 ports on a TV. Just stop playing.
Yeah.
I don't know why they can't put more ports in it.
Yeah.
What's the issue?
It was like a
Why
year
is it
ago.
4?
Vizio was at least offering 5
They had 5?
for 2019, 2020. I think 2020s. I know for the 2019s had
I'm about to
5.
go buy one just for that reason. I hate splitters. But yeah.
So, all right, we're done. So I'm gonna put this on community post. Again, I mentioned recently I did start a membership.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to join the membership, the money from that goes towards being able to make videos where I don't have to worry about monetization and copyright and so on. So I can show a bunch of movie trailers on a TV or whatever and not worry about it. And then some of the off-topic, well, pretty much all the off-topic streams are going to become members only after they're done. So just something to consider. And then also, I've had a few people ask me about like having um, PayPal me or whatever links, things like that. So I did put a Venmo link. Like if you click on the uh, Keep It Classy YouTube page, like the bottom right of the banner, you'll see a little Venmo thing. just if you want to send tips or whatever. But the main thing too is you can always just send a super thanks on any of the videos, or just the super chats in here. All of it goes towards the channel,
Well, you have
which
super
pays
thanks?
for, huh?
You have super thanks?
Yeah, I actually got a couple.
Oh,
So it's all appreciated. It all goes towards stuff like my new camera. I'm actually going to do a video on the camera. I got a whole cage rig, everything for it. So I'm going to show all the camera stuff that I got for the channel. Spent like $7,000 on it. So
yeah.
yep.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten super thanks. That's kind of interesting.
Um,
Um, but yeah, like, one thing about trying to become a member right now, like on mobile, for some reason, I don't see an option for that. So like, definitely put it in your uh, description or be able to put it in chat sometimes.
yeah, I made a community post about the membership with the
Mhm.
link to it. Um,
Let's see.
so,
Let's test it. Yeah, it's weird. It takes you like outside of the app when you try to join it too. It's so frustrating.
um, Hey, wait
All
a
right,
minute.
let's
How
see.
did you
Did that
see
work?
earlier that there was 3 dislikes? I thought YouTube took away the ability to see dislikes.
Nah, not yet. Nope.
All of my stuff, I don't see dislikes. I just see the dislike button, but it doesn't show the amount. That's weird.
A Wait, did I just subscribe with the wrong account?
You subscribed with that. Is
uh,
that not
oh, that's me.
okay?
What? That's weird. Why does it show it like that?
So super thanks is on non-streams, but just regular videos. You'll see like, dislike, share, whatever. There's an option for super thanks, and it basically works the same as like a super sticker or whatever, but you can do it on actual videos instead of just live streams.
No, yeah, it's like I just subscribed with my Google account on accident, and not
Oh,
my actually channel account. That sucks. Oh well,
okay. I'm sure there's a way to fix it.
it's all good. But yeah, I mean, check it out. Go ahead and join the channel membership for Classy. He does a lot of good things for you guys, and support him, please. And give the super chats and the super thanks whenever you think he's doing a good job. Helps out so much for us creators. You guys don't even know. There's a lot that goes into it, and we appreciate everything that you give us. And we can't be more thankful for what you guys do and how you guys show up to these streams, because it means a lot. Like, you guys coming through for these streams and just chatting with us. We love doing this. It's very fun. We actually talk about this off stream all the time. We're always back and forth in Twitter about TVs. It's something we're very passionate about. So thank you for sharing that passion with us. And yeah, man, I can't be more thankful for you guys. It's really great. So
Yep,
thank you.
absolutely. Darius, it's only $5 a month. It's only one level, one tier. Because like I said, it's pretty much just there to help, so that when like I have a TV that I'm reviewing, or I get a new TV or whatever, like I said, I can just do a video of a bunch of movie trailers, or I don't have to worry about the 15-second cutoff on clips,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. I can have audio playing from it, whatever, and just put up the videos without monetization. Even though, Warner or Disney or whoever is going to end up, even if you put it up without monetization on, they're going to say, this is our content, so we're going to monetize it. So you're still going to see the ads. It's just the money goes to them instead of me.
Yeah. And I also want to say that I have a membership as well.
Yep.
I'm pretty much just going to have one tier eventually. I think right now it's 2 tiers. But one thing that what's great about having a membership to both of our channels is we will have the ability to post whatever we want, and we're not just gonna have to like abide by like what we think is gonna be getting us a good amount of views, because sometimes there's things that we might want to post that we know just only a few niche people will like it. So it it's kind of like a detriment for us as YouTubers, because we have to like abide by these rules where like if we put out certain things and it won't get views, we think it kind of tanks our channel. So there's this really weird stigma when you are a YouTuber that if your video like bombs, it hurts personally. Like I don't like having a video say 10 out of 10 when you uploaded it, like it's really like mentally frustrating. So that's something that's just I just wanted to call out that we could make the content sometimes that we want to make whenever we want. So, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
some of the
Yeah, like
streams
that
where
receiver.
we
So
can
the
do any or sort of off-topic streams too.
Mhm.
Like that's something.
Yeah, like when I got that receiver, and
Yeah.
I just made a fun video for it that I just wasn't worried about monetization for it. Like I clicked the monetization thing and immediately got a copyright from I think Warner for
Yeah.
The Greatest Showman, and now it's in dispute status for who knows how long. The money from the ads is in escrow. The video doesn't even do that well, um, but you know it's out there for the people looking at that receiver. I wasn't expecting it to be a big hit or anything like that, so it doesn't really matter. And that's what the membership is for, being able to do those just different videos every now and then, not have
Yep.
to worry about it.
And
Um,
it's important to be really clear that both of our memberships will never have like settings unlocked in them, and you won't have anything where you have to charge to get access to like our settings because we always give our settings for free no matter
mhm,
what it is. And that's something that we just don't believe in. So
yeah,
you won't
yeah.
see that. You won't
Don't
see
ever
any
pay
of
for
our
TV
regular
settings.
content. Yeah, and
Yeah,
you won't see any of our regular content be locked behind a paywall.
yeah. Like I said, that I'm gonna do my off-topic streams for everybody live, and then once it's over, then I'll turn that to members only. But that's where usually just playing games, talking movies, nothing really channel related. Usually drinking, whatever, just having fun. So.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, the Atmos speakers on the towers will work with the receiver. So you're going to get your 5.0.2, and then you add your sub, you'll get your 5.1.2. And that's what my setup is 5.1.2.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like D Nice's settings,
D Nice is awesome.
enjoy them because he's not doing them anymore. I think my
Yeah.
camera died. Did my camera die?
I think it just like overheated or died or
No, it
something.
shouldn't overheat, but I think
Nah,
it.
your Elgato just like tripped out. Yeah, that's a good way to
All
end it,
right,
I
well, yeah,
guess.
we're ending, so.
Let me go ahead and just say like I do have a video coming up on my channel. It's gonna compare the iPhone 13 Pro camera to my Sony A7C. And I'm doing this because I want to inspire people to start maybe doing their own YouTube channel. So you guys should check it out because it's pretty interesting to see the difference between these two cameras, and also maybe if you're looking to get into this, if you can do it with the smartphone camera. And let me tell you, you absolutely can. The first year on YouTube, I did it with an iPhone 10. So it's definitely possible to
Yeah.
just do YouTube with your phone camera. And this is something I just want to show people, and hope you guys check it out. It's not usually related to TVs, you know, but check it out if you can. That's all I'm asking.
Yep.
And I will have a stream Friday with Classy, I think, right? You coming through?
Yeah, I should be there.
5:30 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah,
Unless
my
you want to go
battery died.
earlier. I don't know.
Even though I have the USB plugged in, I gotta figure out how to get this thing to stay running long term or long time. But
Yep.
yep. So come
All right,
back
guys.
Friday on KG's channel for stream.
Yep. See you later, guys.
All right.
Hit the like button on the way out. Bye.
Yep, and leaving a comment after it's over helps too. So thanks
Yes.
everyone,
Thank
and catch
you.
you in the next one.